Billiken fans, welcome back. It's Zach Miller and, well, not Peter Hale. We have a special guest host sitting in with me today, and that's WestPineBills, one half of the fabled Twitter account in the Billiken Twitter sphere has joined me today. It's the Midtown Madness Podcast. Before we get going, thank you so much for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Of course, if you have anything to say, if you want to talk about the Series 6 merchandise drop, you want to talk about A10 Media Day, anything we talk about on this show today, hit the comment section down below on YouTube. It really does help. Even if you comment, love the show, or don't like the show, whatever. It still helps. It's season 5. Once again, the Midtown Madness Podcast is brought to you by Two Men in a Garden. WPB. I consume a lot of internet content, man. And dude, I know you do too. And man, are the ads so lame. The meal kit services, the microwavable meals, the subscription services, all that junk. I don't mess with it. It scares me. I just think they're going to continue billing me forever. That's why we only sport Two Men in a Garden or Two Men in a Garden salsa on this podcast, and pickles if you're Peter, because it's local here in St. Louis. It tastes amazing. They've got all the flavors to suit your individual salsa preferences. You can get their many products at any local grocery store or head online, twomeninthegarden.com. If you're particular about your salsa, that's where you want to go first. Follow them on social media at Two Men Salsa on Instagram and Twitter. West Pine, how are we doing, man? How are we doing?
We are great. Vibes are extremely high on our account. Not myself. I will give a quick shout out. The other half of the account did get engaged this weekend. So the WestPineBills family will be growing, so to speak, though our spouses are definitely not as slew obsessed as us. But vibes are good, man. Just enjoying a nice Sunday. So excited to dive into some slew stuff. Feel like we haven't talked about this stuff in a while, at least in a long format. Been limited to the 280 character limit of Elon's Twitter. So excited to get into some slew stuff.
I think, look, if you're listening to this, I think we need to disclaim this episode right now. It's probably going to go off the rails pretty quickly, without, our chaperone Peter here to keep us on track. It probably will not be heavy into the non-rev sports. We'll get into the results and do a little bit, but we're really basketball heavy this episode, just with kind of the way WestPineBills fandom is. He does dabble in the non-revs, but really just try to stay right in his wheelhouse. We are actually first. Let's talk about the big news of the week. Actually, I think it's the biggest news in me and you, like our fandom, because the Series 6 line of merchandise dropped, and we've been waiting for it. And there was a bit of a soft launch.
Yeah, there was. I want to say about 6 weeks ago, some items hit the bookstore, if my timing is correct on this, and they all looked fabulous. I mean, I know you're about to pull everything up and share everything, but, you know, they teased it, I want to say, last Monday by the time this drops, and people were intrigued. I mean, we got a few DMs like, oh, what is this? And I know they announced back in May or somewhere around that time, and people were excited, but kind of fell off the radar. Zach, I know that we're going to dive into it a lot, but I'm not going to lie, I'm going to spend a lot of money on this collection. Can't hide that.
No, I think it's a good collection, and I think we always try to look at this stuff through a lens of like, yeah, okay, maybe we wouldn't wear this, or I think we always try to look at it as this is good no matter what it looks like. But this stuff really does hit that nostalgia vibe that I really is a hell of a drug these days.
Yeah, I think it hits enough of those notes for multi-generational fandom. So you get some of those, I mean, very old school Billiken logos. I know those, like the top left, those unisex sweatshirts.
Yeah.
I don't know I'm not enough of a historian to know the years, but that winking Billiken is a pretty old school logo.
Yeah.
But you get a little bit from each era. And I will say, as you hover over that one with one of those sweatshirts, like, a very tiny detail that I appreciated so much about this launch is that they had actual students and student athletes
Mm-hmm.
model the gear, which is something that, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we've seen any of the other fantastic options come out do. And it's so cool seeing Larry Hughes the second in vintage
Yeah.
Billiken gear, especially stuff from the era of his dad. I mean, it is so cool to see. And I love this sweatshirt. I'm for sure buying. I can't decide which one yet, though.
Okay, so I have something to say about this sweatshirt. I have two things to say. One really good thing about it, and then one thing that I'm not like, I don't love. And I don't think they needed to add that Billiken, that winking Billiken. I really don't. I think they could have gotten away with just St. Louis University. I think they could have left it with Billikens, right? It would have looked. That would have been my preference. It still looks amazing. And also my second thing is that the blue and the light blue and royal blue stripe on the one that Larry Hughes is wearing, that is proof of what could be a potential alternate jersey. Like that color, that color combination.
Yeah, that powder blue, and then I don't even know what the darker one would be called.
It's just a royal. I think it's just blue blue, and I think like that is when we talk about the light blue and on a uniform, it's usually paired with that navy blue. I think SLU should bring back that light blue to complement the SLU blue full time.
Yeah, I would love to see a mock-up on an actual basketball jersey or soccer. I mean, I think soccer is a good testing ground for a lot of this stuff, but I think like as an accent that it's man, it goes so well together, and I just I'm sure we'll talk about jerseys at some point, but
oh yes,
heard through a source that the gray jerseys are done after this year, and that a powder blue or a baby blue or whatever you want to call it is on the table for a replacement, or that the department's open to a lot of ideas on a replacement.
Yeah.
I think you're spot on though, that like that powder blue plus that royal blue that would look sharp.
Like we don't need to go into the navy. We don't need to get, I mean, and obviously, and if you wanted to go navy, honestly, that navy and royal looks good. I think you can pair both these colors, with that royal blue and not go full on into a different color set, if you know what I mean.
100%. Now, Zach, I'm going to put you on the spot. If you can only have one of these.
Yes, it's the cream.
The cream? See, I think I lean towards the blue with the white accent, but man, they're both sharp.
Well, the problem is that you get a lot. You eat a lot of wings. You eat a lot of hot wings, and so you got to get the one where the wing sauce isn't going to show when you get it all over yourself.
I use wet wipes. I'm not a Neanderthal, but
now okay. So talk about like hitting that nostalgic that itch. This Billiken hat that they dropped, and this is, I believe, I'm trying to think. I don't think Arch Apparel released some hats. Home Field did eventually.
The dad hat, which is the dribbling Billiken, which I do own, and it's a sweet hat.
What do you think about this one? I'm not like, I have a very weird head. I usually go for the flat bill, 50, 47, whatever.
Yeah.
7, whatever. Anyway, the new era style. What do you think of this one? You're more into this. I'm
a little mixed. I'm a little mixed on kind of the fat head with the curved brim. Again, it's an interesting head shape that it goes into. I think that if you have a head that this looks good on, this is a sweet hat. I don't know personally if I can rock this, but it's, again,
it's not going to fit me right.
Like, it's nothing against the hat. It's just kind of we're very partial. Anyone who's watching the video can see that the picture we're using right now to conceal our identity is the Billiken statue, which this on the side has the graphical representation of. I'm very partial to the I guess Buddha Billiken. I don't even know what I would
Yeah,
call
the one
that.
that's on my back.
Yeah. Like I'm very partial to that Billiken design. I think it's very whimsical and cool. I love that they have it on a hat. I don't know if this one's for me,
No.
but I
It's for
know,
somebody. There are people that will love this
yeah,
hat.
I
And
know,
that's what's important.
I know that like for a lot of, 18 to 22-year-old fans, this will absolutely kill in the Shafit student section. So I like it. Probably not for me, but I like it a lot.
And that's what I love about these collections is that they've been coming from different niche providers. And that's why I think niche clothing brands are so good. Um, this next one's kind of a simple design that it comes in a few different types. It comes in a sweatshirt and a t-shirt. I mean, it's not for me again, but it hits that 1990, 98, 97 ish. Late Scott Trade Center. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like it.
So I like this design. My one wish for this exact shirt, because I'm probably going to buy this one. I wish not a crew neck, not a short sleeve. I wish they had a long sleeve shirt with
Oh,
this.
we do need some long sleeve
Yeah,
stuff.
like I think this is a really cool design. I think that you need more like plain sleeve real estate to make it look super super clean.
Hmm.
But I'm very partial to this Billiken design, even though it's not the exact one that was there when I was a student. So I
Uh,
like it. Again, not exactly 100% for me, but I know that there's a big target market for it. So like it.
this one is I think this might be my favorite Billiken.
Yes.
You give me a lot of shit for being a person who likes the current Billiken.
The Chad
Uh,
Billiken.
hey, you know what? He's looks maxing, all right.
Yeah, he's
He's been doing jaw exercises.
got a lot of Riz.
Yes, skibbity something or other. And people are quickly turning off. Yeah, I got to stop moving my mouse. But no, I think this Billiken was like this the Billiken the idea of a Billiken walking around with like two pillows underneath its shirt just makes me lose
It's
it.
it's it's incredible. So, not to spoil stuff, I think this and the T-shirt version of the kind of hot belly Billiken spinning a ball on his finger, this is the best one. The script Billikens is Chef's Kiss. The funniest thing I saw all week was I believe it was Matt Rocchio tweeted at us. Did the Billiken always look like a Dr. Seuss character? And this is like
I I'm glad you brought this up.
like this is so, and I'll go on a little bit of a tangent here. When I say like, oh man, I wish the Billiken had a little bit more character, this is what I'm talking about.
Do you just
This
want
is
him to
a
be fat? You just want him to be
yeah,
one
like
of us?
I want him to be I want him to be a guy that's just like a goofy looking character, and man, this sweatshirt looks sick. I can't tell what color it actually is because the one Larry Hughes is wearing is not the same color as
Yeah.
the image. But man, this is the best one in the entire collection. I think that this is probably my favorite Billiken. Full of whimsy, full of wonder, and man, even the slew font on
Yeah,
its sweatshirt
it's
is
goofy.
it's goofy, but in all the right ways. And this is just no offense to Home Field or 99 or any of the providers that have made some great slew merchandise. This might be my favorite slew item that's
Wow.
been put out into the
I
universe.
I gotta say I would have probably been crazier about one with either St. Louis or Billikens. Well, you could give me one or the other. I don't need
I
both.
can see that.
I don't need both.
I
You could have
do.
saved some on the printing.
I will say, one of the things, and like going back to the powder blue thing, one of the things that I think if they ever outlaw the gray uniforms, which again they're supposed to, I wouldn't mind seeing as a third jersey option is a like a throwback.
Yeah,
I think if you gave me a throwback jersey with a logo, I would like it to be kind of that style
yeah.
of kind of portly Billiken that's just goofy. I just
Yeah.
like that. Though I do love this one too. This
This one
a winner.
is, oh my God. This might be just like my favorite. Again, I'm wearing the shirt. That's how much I love this like set of Billikens. I may get one of these tattooed on me.
It's so cool.
I may do it. I just love it. I think it's great. It looks vaguely like the mouse from Cat Dog.
So it does, but it also gives me, and this is going to sound so weird,
Darwin?
In my brain, I think of like Dairy Queen when I see these.
Okay, sure.
I don't
We'll
know
go with
why.
that.
I have no idea why. I just feel like
They look kind of like a car, like how the middle one kind of looks like something out of A Bug's Life.
a little bit,
Yeah, like a lightning bug, like you would be a lightning bug.
Or oddly, I don't know why I just thought about this, like Snap Crackle Pop,
Yes, okay.
like just like a Rice
Yeah.
Krispie, or Keebler Elves, But again, this is another phenomenal shirt.
Hold on here. I guess we'll peek behind the curtain. This is the Peter. I'm sending this
that
one
looks
up to
great.
Peter.
You know what I like about this collection too is that they offer multiple color options for the same designs, which is again, I love that there's so much retro Billiken merchandise on the market now, but I like having the options. But
you're a choosy beggar, like I am.
A little bit, but I'm also paying for it. So
yes,
beggars can be choosers because I'm not begging.
Yes. Again, Larry Hughes is rocking this shirt. It's gorgeous. It really is.
It's
that cream color just screams like drinking Budweiser out of a paper cup. Like that waxy paper cup that they used to sell. It reeks of drinking one in like the Kiel Center, maybe smoking a cigarette. That's what that feels like to me. Tucked into some Levi's jeans, maybe with a Billiken belly. It's beautiful. All right. Go on.
Sorry.
No,
my mic was
that is the one pitfall people are gonna have to deal with is that we cannot see each other, so we don't know.
I'm also a peek behind the curtain. I'm also eating my dinner at the same time doing this, so I keep muting my microphone. I'm enjoying some chili.
So like
people want some ASMR.
Oh God. Like you said, they offered two different colors, but this one is also offered in a sweatshirt as well.
And the sweatshirt I will be buying. That is a sick sweatshirt.
That honestly, I'm looking at that now, and that is the perfect size design on a sweatshirt. Like everything that I saw in the NIL store that's for like Robbie Avila has the tiniest design. This is the correct size for a design on a sweatshirt.
Yes, 100%.
And it's just perfectly busy enough.
Yeah. Again, I will be spending an absurd amount of money on this collection. It's well priced.
Yes, it is.
It is fairly priced.
$50 for a sweatshirt. I mean, that's
a good deal.
Yes, and it's local. But what here's one that's kind of a throwback. And I'll tell you what, I wish they would have thrown some gold into this one. I don't know if you've heard us talk about this before, but there was a time when you would find a lot of gold. And I think you can kind of see it in the cream color that is the Billiken kind of, the skin of the Billiken, I guess. But this is a weird one because it's navy and light blue. This might be the first time we've seen navy and light blue back on Billiken merchandise.
So I do like this one. I don't know if this is the exact color I would order, but yes. I am partial to, again, this Billiken. I have a great hoodie from Home Field with this one on it.
By the way, this is an incredible photo.
It really is.
That's such a damn good photo. That looks like the most fun anyone's ever had. I'm pissed. I want to be a part of that. That looks fun.
I think something that comes through so clearly through this is that Series 6 is a distinctly St. Louis company.
Yes.
And that there's just a degree of care in it that you can't really get when you get a national brand.
Right.
Again, this looks incredibly fun. And they
didn't have to go get Luis Lara.
No.
Like Johnny Klein makes sense. Like Luis Lara, Larry Hughes makes sense. Luis Lara, like they could have easily said, you know what? We got Johnny Klein. He's the pro. He's the guy that everyone's going to recognize. No, let's get Luis Lara in there too. I think that's beautiful. And I mean, that looks spectacular. That right.
It does.
I mean,
and to be fair, this one looks better on like a person.
Yes.
Than the actual render.
Yes.
Because on the render, I'm like, I don't know if I could wear that. And then I see someone, I'm like, I could pull that off. With jeans too?
Yes.
Oh my God.
This collection is like going through my Uncle Bud's closet. Like it's a little unsettling in some ways, but it's beautiful. Again, here's that royal blue with the light blue. I think
I like this one.
Josh Schertz, I know you're Michael Schertz, I know you're listening. Talk to your brother. We need the light blue with royal blue accents.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
This color combo would absolutely kill on an alternate jersey.
And Indiana State would kill us.
They'd be mad.
They'd be so pissed.
This is another shirt though, and I will be buying this one.
Yeah, I like this one a lot.
I'll be buying this. This on a long sleeve would be, this would be perfect.
I did notice that the shirt material is different. So like this one is gonna be a lot. This one's gonna be different than say. It's almost like they went with like period appropriate materials for each shirt. So like this one's a much softer kind of tri-blendy, like the one you would associate with like a vintage band t-shirt, right?
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. And then you get into like the Roll Bills and then the Billiken soccer ones, and you're getting much more of like, it's still very good material. You're definitely not getting a Gildan shirt or anything like that, but it's a little bit more of a structured shirt, if that makes sense.
No, that definitely does. And that's an interesting, again, I got to order a few to kind of figure out what's what, but nice to know.
Now this one I got too, and I love this one. I mean, I'm so glad that these collections have leaned into the soccer aspect. I mean, there's so much tradition. There's so much like I was begging for the Kickin' Billiken and I didn't get it, and I am going to keep begging for a Kickin' Billiken t-shirt until I get one. But this is awesome.
I would imagine if these sell decently well, they will expand to a Kickin' Billiken.
I don't know if they even have it. The only thing is I don't know if anybody has that logo. Like you would have to
expect someone
what you would have, like honestly, I don't know where, like again, I don't know if it's anywhere other than that jacket that I have. Like and you could remake it, honestly, easily. I mean, what year are we in? 2024.
I would expect there's an archive somewhere at SLU that has an obscure picture or something.
My favorite thing about this shirt is that it follows the trope of the era of this logo, where every soccer logo had to have a soccer ball that looked like this in it. Yeah, I appreciate it. I love this.
It's very faithful to what, again, as you said, the period that each design is coming from. I mean, we got a couple more pieces to look at, but I'm blown away by this collection. It is fantastic.
I'm just imagining, like with this like t-shirt, I'm imagining a soccer coach with a big belly tucked into some pair of Umbro shorts with like some high socks that are kind of, crunched down with like his Adidas, Copas on, and this t-shirt. That is the vision of like late 90s, early 2000s soccer coach.
Just make the movie Next Goal Wins with Michael Fassbender, but put him in this.
Yes.
Instead of, I can see it, honestly.
I want to see Adam Sandler as a soccer coach wearing this shirt.
Oh, God.
No, here, I got it. The Billikens win the national championship next year. Adam Sandler plays Kevin Kalish in the movie. I got it. It's done. It's done. He finally gets to wear the Billiken shirt when he's worn all the other A10 shirts.
Yeah, LaSalle, St. Joe's, VCU.
Final. Again, that's going to be it for the collection. I mean, there's this this Billiken one, again, this Billiken soccer one. It's a good shirt. It's again more
It is.
structured than that tri blend material. But again, yeah, head over. Series 6 has a brick and mortar on Watson, I believe. They are over at 3719 Watson Road, St. Louis, Missouri, 63109. You can also obviously get these online. But I almost said Pete. WestPineBills, any last kind of thoughts on the collection?
No, the only thing is I am going to be significantly poorer as a result of buying 90% of that collection.
Starting that family is going to have to be put on hold, I guess.
Yeah, that's going to be a few years anyways. But I would say if you like this stuff, the best way to get more of it is to support it. And, like if Zach wants to kick in Billiken, or if, there's some obscure logo that's not represented, one, purchasing it is the best way to get more of it. And two, reach out to these companies because they do listen.
Yeah.
I know that part of the reason this collection came together is because there were fans saying, "Hey, I like what you guys do. Do you do college stuff?" So,
yeah,
just, support with your wallet.
Yeah, support local. I mean, they are local, and yeah, it's great. I think they have that support local campaign where they put out T-shirts that were part of the profits go directly to the restaurants. They've got like Humphreys has a T-shirt in here with their penny picture on it. So again, they're right in there with Humphreys, a new St. Louis University landmark, a new old one. So and they did unlike the other drop that did not work straight with Humphreys, just threw the logo up there. WestPineBills, you want to talk some basketball? I know you want to. You kind of probably want to get into the field hockey, though. Is what I'm guessing.
I'll be honest. Field hockey, you will have a much more in-depth account.
I think you did watch it. You did watch it.
I did. But I will leave field hockey to you. I'm here mainly for hoops, a little bit of soccer talk.
Let's get it.
Let's get through what you want to get through, and then we can.
No, we'll go straight to men's basketball.
Okay. All
right. A10 Media Day was Monday, October 7th. The Billikens were the second team.
Second or first? I had a work meeting like right when the feed started, so I honestly
quit your job and done WestPineBills as full time.
We don't make money off this account.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I would love to, but no. A niche college basketball account does not pay the bills, unfortunately.
Shit posting in a mid-major basketball.
Yeah. So no. So it was either the first or second of the day. I want to say Davidson might have gone before. It doesn't really matter. But
let's talk about this preseason poll, though. VCU leads the way in this one, followed by Dayton and third place St. Joe's. The Billikens are picked fourth, man. What's your thought there?
So it's kind of interesting, and we haven't dove into it too much on Twitter to this point, but offline, a lot of conversations we've had about this team is that, whatever expectation you probably have of this team, you probably can back up. If you think they're going to be first, you can argue Avila, Swope, Gibson, Schertz should be preseason favorite. If you want to argue eighth and say, hey, entirely new roster, new league, whatever, you can pretty much argue whatever you want for SLU eighth or above. For about the last 6 weeks, our default stance has been pick SLU anywhere between third and fifth, and it's probably the safest bet. Coaches ended up doing that. I know there's probably some hot take people are expecting from us about SLU's positioning. I think this is fair. I'm very biased in that I think they're going to finish above this, but I think as a starting point, fourth makes a ton of sense. I think you and I have the same gripe with this poll, and it's not a SLU-specific complaint. It has to do with the number 3 team.
Yeah.
Because I think if you switch St. Joe's and Loyola, who is fifth, I honestly don't have a problem with the top 6. because that's probably where I would place things out personally.
Yeah, I think I don't know where they are getting. It's just so weird to me how badly they want to make Billy Lang happen. And I don't know who they is.
I think I think with him, a lot of it is just an on paper talent retention thing. Eric Reynolds, they don't do a preseason player of the year. He probably is the preseason player of the year, at least by most media publications. So I think a lot of people look at it and say, look, you have the guy that people presume to be the best player in the league. You have Xavier Brown, Rasheer Fleming, and a couple other guys that are supposed to be decent. We certainly can't put St. Joe's any lower than third. And I think that that's a very dangerous game to play because, first off, the total has to be greater than the sum of its parts. And two, you have a coach that's never finished above 500 in this league and who has been a pretty bad coach the majority of his career. My thoughts on Billy Lang are very, very well known. I think that he makes teams worse than they actually are. And I don't know why anyone would believe in them, but I think they're just looking at them on paper and saying, look, they have so much talent. They were a top 2 talented roster in the league last year, and they finished like 6th. So I don't know. I mean,
I did think there was no way SLU would finish last.
And you were right. They finished 14th. So, look, because I want to focus on the SLU part of this prognostication. I think fourth is. I think fourth is very fair. I think they're going to finish above that. I have a ton of faith in Josh Schertz, and I don't think, to put it bluntly, I don't think Rob Avila and Isaiah Swope came to SLU to finish fourth in the A10. I just don't.
I don't think they came to play school either, but that's just me. We did have. I think there's a person missing from this all conference preseason team, and I think you're going to agree with me. But where they are, I'm not sure. The first team, as far as the Billikens are concerned, obviously Gibson, Jimerson, and Robbie Avila were marked in with Sharpie. We knew that was going to happen. They were joined by Max Scholga, Nate Santos, Des Watson, Eric Reynolds. Anybody on that list you disagree with?
Nope. I think that list is pretty rock solid.
Okay.
I kind of understand not to go down the road. I understand the gripe you have.
Yeah.
And the 2 gripes you have based on texting. I think for first team, based on how they vote, that is probably where I would go.
Yeah. I just don't think, again, it's going to be very difficult if all the talent that we have shines this season, best case scenario, it's very hard to get more than 2 people on an all conference team.
Well, and you know what? I'm going to use this as a good opportunity to kind of go on.
Go off, King.
Yeah, so here, if you vote, and I know that people do these independently, if the preseason vote puts 2 Billikens on the first team, I don't know why they're picked fourth. That's kind of my one cognitive dissonance thing with this whole poll. I don't necessarily know if Gibson will be a first teamer, and that's no offense to Gibson. That's just kind of a look at his role the last few years, and I understand he's going to play a much different role this year. I don't know. I think it's strange the fourth place team has 2 players on the first team, but I don't disagree with SLU having 2 players there.
No, yeah. I don't think they take. I think these 2, the all conference team and the preseason poll are so independently voted on that nobody says, "Hey, they'll probably vote the people." They'll probably vote that the standings. They'll do that poll And then they'll look at
Yeah.
they're not thinking, oh, they're not looking at the all conference team and then going back and be like, well, we got to update the poll.
Yeah, which again, it's weird. It's minor gripes. I'm I'm okay that two SLU players made it. I have gripes lower down the list, so
You
we'll
have a
get to
lot of
those.
gripes, but so do I.
I do, It's one of those
what
days.
what would the world be if we couldn't whine about stuff?
Complain about meaningless preseason polls.
Absolutely. Second team, Posh Alexander, a guy you're familiar with over at Dayton. Darius Maddox at George Mason, Darren Buchanan, George Washington, Xavier Brown, St. Joe's, Joe Bamasil, and Zeb Jackson from VCU are on the second team. Third team, and honestly, second team is where I'm going to put Kaluanya at the end of the season.
Yeah, I think that's one of my things. I think Kaluanya will end up on the second or third team when the year is done. And I think he'll probably end up on all defensive team.
God, he's going to be so much fun to watch. I don't think the A10 knows what's going to happen.
I'm going to abstain from my hot take on him until we get through all the teams.
All right. Third team, Reed Bailey Davidson, the worst name in the A10, Rasul Diggins, UMass, Miles Rubin, Loyola, Jaden House, URI, Rashir Fleming, St. Joe's, and our very own Isaiah Swope.
Isaiah Swope probably should have been a second teamer.
Yeah.
I am extremely biased from having watched a 45-minute supercut of his year last year. Even him hobbled, he probably would have been the third best guard in the A10 last year. Like, even with him having I
just got chills.
A meniscus or something. That video I texted you guys, you need to watch.
How'd you know I didn't watch it?
It's unbelievable. I'm aware you didn't watch it. Isaiah Swope's really good.
Yeah.
And I can't say how I acquired it, but I did see film from the Billiken basketball night or whatever it was called. Isaiah Swope might be the best player on this team.
Oh, wow.
But
I'm going to have to bleep out that first part.
No one knows where I got it from. No one knows who I got it from. But Isaiah Swope might be the best player on this team. I'm not saying most impactful, but best player.
No surprise. There's no Billikens returning on the all-defensive team. None of the returning Billikens made it. Posh Alexander, Enoch Cheeks from Dayton, Abu Simbila from Fordham, Rubin from Loyola, and Jackson from VCU. Schertz had an interesting take that, even though he's got 10 new guys, they're in the same position as a lot of the teams in the A10.
Yeah, I love that quote from him, actually, where, I think his exact framing of it was 4 or 5 years ago, it'd be a huge deal. Right now, it's not. I mean, I want to say even St. Joe's, who's picked above them, they have like 6 returners, so they have 7 new guys. This is just the way college basketball is now.
It sucks, but yeah.
It does, but I think that SLU is going to be in a better position than other people in the A10 with this. Like I just do. Just some stuff we've heard about NIL and the type of guys that Josh Schertz is recruiting. I know a lot of coaches will give lip service about character first and blah blah blah, but there seems from people we talk to be a lot behind that, and that it's not just lip service. So
yeah,
I think that SLU was good at retention under Travis Ford, retention of rotation players, like a major asterisk. Yeah, I'm not. I thought this was a good quote from him, and I'm not particularly worried because it's just kind of how college basketball is now.
Yeah, he said this group is talented, hardworking, and high character, and I think you've got to have. I think that's one of the things that we really were excited about when Josh Schertz was hired or became a candidate, is that he recruits the kind of guy that can excel and accept the role and the, I guess, compensation now as opposed to, a Travis Ford type player. And that's not to say they're any worse or any greedier. It's just the kind of person, or I guess the kind of basketball athlete. You know what I mean? Because I don't think it changes anyone as a person to be the person that's chasing, financial security in the short term versus, development for the future. But it's just a different vibe.
Yeah, I'll say my thoughts on that because I know that we have a different quote of a few down that we can talk more about that.
He said Avila is the type of guy that you can build an offense around, but also that you can build a program around because of his leadership and the kind of person he is. And I think that it is truly key to have that guy who is a program guy. You're gonna have to have 4-year guys, at least 1, 2, or 3 of them. And Avila is that perfect guy, given the fact that he's going to be 4 years under Schertz and not necessarily 4 years at SLU.
Yeah, 100%. I think that one thing Schertz has consistently pointed out in all of his interviews, and Media Day was no different, is that a huge benefit is that he brought Robbie and Isaiah with him, and that having guys who have worked in his system before to be extensions of him and his coaching staff on the floor is just going to allow them to kind of, turbocharge their development of all the guys around them. So Gibson and Kellen and Larry and everyone. I think that, the way he talks about Robbie is you can tell it's much more than just basketball with those two. And not to be sappy, but that's in an era of, mercenaries and everything. And I get that Robbie's a mercenary on some level following Josh, but, it is kind of refreshing to hear that there are guys that are, hey, I'm your guy. I'm your guy. If you're going here, I'm going here. And it's not about the other stuff.
I did hear he turned down a cause ribbon by the clock tower, so I don't know. That could be red flags. Which reminds me of that scene from Head of State where they run the attack ad on Chris Rock, where he says he's for cancer because he didn't attend the cancer rally.
I would never expect
my God.
Head of State reference.
Oh, how do you not expect this?
No, I've seen the movie.
But no, how do you not expect that from me? That's
But that's the problem.
A1 Zach.
That's the problem though. You're expecting a million references and you get the one you're not expecting later.
I'm trying to keep you on your toes, man. Schertz was first of all, Robbie's ankle, according to Robbie anyway, and that's the direct from the source. That his ankle is going to be fine and he'll be ready when the season starts. West Pine, I'm still holding my breath. Who am I kidding?
I am too. I watched this exact segment when I can't remember if it was Field of 68 or the regular one. He was so definitive with it where he said, it's not a big deal. I'll be fine. Like he was so to the point with it where I'm like, it's not a big deal. Yeah. I think Schertz did have a good thing, and I'm not sure if it's in your list of quotes, but Schertz had a really funny anecdote. He said, I told Robbie it's a great thing you can only jump like 4 inches off the ground, because if you could have jumped 5, you might have been out for 2 months.
He's got the vertical of a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Schertz here, I think this is the one you were foreboding or foreshadowing.
Yes.
Schertz was asked about recruiting in this era. He said if someone's first question is just how much you'll be making, then you're probably not a fit. He said there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not indicative of someone who will work out for them. Avila, Swope, and Jimerson are all guys who could have made more elsewhere, but sacrifice that, and players who do that are likely to make other sacrifices necessary to win. And West Pine, I think this is an insanely good marketing ploy, as much as it is a very honorable stance in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I definitely think it is. I mean, it's pretty clear from everything we've heard, recruiting anecdotes and everything, that they're looking for guys who are culture fits first. Yeah. Obviously, they're looking for talented basketball players. They're looking for people that can help them win, but they're looking for people who want to be here for quote unquote the right reasons. And I know that we hear that all the time and everything, but I think it's a very modern approach to recruiting in an era where you don't really know if a guy that, you write $1 million check to, if they're going to show up and care.
Yeah.
And I just, again, we have to see it play out, but it's very refreshing to hear this approach. And when you read the quote on paper, it doesn't necessarily sound as genuine as when he delivers it.
Yes.
And that's not in a bad way, but when he says it, you're like, hey, I believe this guy. And maybe I'm a sap and
the Indiana State fans would tell you are a sucker.
Sure. But again, the whole thing, their team last year, I want to say it was like 80 grand in NIL.
Yeah.
That team was not heavily bankrolled or anything. And
yeah, I just wanted to make the joke, honestly.
I honestly, so my very earnest take on this is that if Josh Schertz has success at SLU, there will be more money to offer in terms of NIL.
Yeah.
I personally don't think his approach to recruiting is going to change whether or not they have $5 million in the bank or they have $200 in the bank. Well, I think it's going to be a very consistent program philosophy that they stick to, and the money is a small part of it.
Well, here's the great thing about that quote is, like, first of all, he can get away with it. Travis Ford was not going to get away with it if he said the same thing last year because he didn't have juice. Now we have juice. Whether if it was Schertz coming in and saying this, if it was Bucky McMillan coming in and saying this, if it was Darian DeVries coming in and saying this, any of those guys, even if this was Travis Ford in 2016 saying this, he would have got away with it then.
Yes.
But I think the thing about saying this is that, look, you can say that and you're automatically weeding out, you're saving yourself so much time and effort on recruiting guys that are not interested. That's like, it's like cutting the list by 75% right away, 50%. Then look, you make it clear that, like, it's not about the money. Then you go and talk to the NIL and figure out what you can do. That number can always elevate.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he's saying we're not going to pay your ass. He's saying, look, if you're wondering what you're going to make first, that's not how it's going to work. We will make sure you get compensated, but, like, we need you here to win before you're here to get paid.
Well, I think this kind of goes hand in hand as the other side of the coin from a quote he had maybe 2 months ago that I think Stu tweeted out. And, like, look, I'm paraphrasing, but he said, we have a number for freshmen. We have a flat number, and it kind of is what it is. And I don't necessarily 100% believe that, but I think that there is like a, hey, if you're a 4-star, we'll give you X. And if you come back and say, well, I want X plus 200 grand, they'll say, hey, I don't think this can work out because that's not exactly the point of all of this. No. And, my last thing with NIL and kind of what you had said with, like, Ford and the juice and stuff, I think this approach to recruiting is how you don't get strung along by a guy in the portal for 2 months.
Yeah.
I.e. a Malcolm Dandridge.
Oh, Dandridge. You couldn't get rid of that guy.
Where it's like, hey, I want to come to SLU. Okay, great. Well, you got to increase the, allegedly, whatever. It isn't what it is. But I love this quote. I love especially the part about it that he singled out Avila, Swope, Jimerson. They could have got more money somewhere else. They are buying into what we're doing here. They believe in what we're doing. That's important.
Yes,
that is important.
You're looking at
those guys get paid.
You're looking at a guy you're looking at Avila, who is one of the top transfers in the country. A guy like Swope, who was, again, just behind Avila as a top transfer in the country, coming off an injury, obviously, so maybe a little stock. But Jimerson, the best 3-point shooter in the nation right now statistically. These guys are saying, we believe, like, it's not just random high school kids saying we believe in this guy. It is guys that you've seen have success individually at the NCAA Division I level saying, okay, we've got, like, I believe in the way this coach, like, those guys have juice. Um, those guys have, they are, they are authorities on success individually. Their opinion matters to a lot of people, especially once you get them on campus as a recruit, talking to these guys. If you have guys that are that bought in, it's huge.
Again, you hit the nail on the head. This is probably my favorite quote of the entire interview, and
This is a running gag at this point. The next quote will be your favorite quote of the interview.
Have I done that already? Yeah, I have. But yeah, let's move on to the next one, because I think the next one builds really well into. It expands on one of these guys.
Yeah, he said he added that a good support system around players is important. They want to know who's influential to their players, and they want to be comfortable with what the players are being told. He called out Avila as having a great support system and family. West Pine, I think we saw a little of this. I certainly don't want to get into who on the Billikens might have had, in the past couple years. But I know there were a lot of people that were, when you have losses, relationships get strained and outsiders make their voices known. And I think that was no different at SLU the last couple of years.
100%.
And by outsiders, I mean family and friends of players. We don't count in that.
And look,
because we're not a part of it.
I will never hold family getting frustrated with the program, with the coaches, with fans. I will never hold that against them. It's family. It's all personal. It's all personal for them. That being said, I really think that a guy like Robbie, this was not a decision he made. That was just, hey, I want to do this, and I don't really care what anyone else says.
Well, it was just orange chicken. He just had some orange chicken.
You know what? I know that's getting ahead about two quotes, but man, that must have been, as someone who's not a big Panda Express guy, thank you, Panda Express, for giving Robbie the
orange chicken. Have you had the Guy Fieri blazing bourbon?
No, I have not.
It's pretty good.
See, you know what?
If it was blazing bourbon, he might not have come to St. Louis.
My Panda Express take is that the orange chicken is like not even a top 3 menu item. It's
not. It's literally the most milquetoast Chinese flavor.
It is.
It's for us guy. No, that's Japan. Never mind. That's a slang term for an outsider in Japan. Never mind.
Their sweet fire chicken breast infinitely better than the orange chicken. Orange chicken is like it's bad chicken thigh that they have too. It's good chicken thigh.
No, it's all bread. But yeah, I love that we have play again. You all, like, I think it all goes hand in hand with kind of getting guys that have good shoulders on their head, have their feet on the ground. That all comes from upbringing and parental figures. So I don't think it's a surprise that when you bring in guys that, like, Avila, Swope, Jimerson, who all understand that this is about the sum of the parts or the whole, I think it's obvious that they have to have a good support system that includes good parents.
I don't know if this is on the list or if you guys talked about it last week, because all this stuff runs together for me. But did you guys talk about Anya last week? Like the article that Stu wrote?
Yeah, we did.
That's another guy. Great support system.
Yeah.
Like just bringing guys in where it's like, look, you got the support at home. We're going to give you what you need at school.
Imagine saying that, getting a guy to transfer from Brown.
That's, that went wildly under the radar at the time. That's the big, in no disrespect to SLU, our alma mater, love the university, great college.
I graduated from SLU. Let's be real.
Giving up a Brown degree to play basketball at SLU is not a minor sacrifice.
No. But
And
I guess you're talking. I mean, I'm assuming he was on some sort of academic scholarship.
I would assume so. I mean, if you're him and you're doing what was it? It was math and
Engineering, maybe.
engineering. Yeah, it was much smarter than I am.
Yes.
So
So it didn't involve Excel.
no, no, probably not. But that's not a minor sacrifice. And I know guys transfer out of the Ivy all the time, but this kind of all goes back. They have a very high character group. If nothing else for this team, this is going to be a very high character, high IQ team. What that means in terms of wins and losses, we'll see. It can be for interpretation, but yeah, this support system is another great thing to say as a coach, as a recruiting pitch, and I believe it. I don't think it's just hot
Also,
air
it
in an
helps
interview.
when you mention that a player has a good support system, and then you recruit a guy, and then his parents know that you talk about it, how important it is to recruit guys with a great support system. I mean, you're indirectly
Yeah.
complimenting every future recruit's parents here.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful. Just as long as the street agents stay away for this tenure, this coaching tenure.
I hope so.
Right after the official A10, well, hold on, I missed something. I think I missed something. Avila was asked about how the team's progressing compared to his experience last season. He said every team's different, so their progress looks different. He said they're always at their best at the end of the season, and it's a matter of getting as many reps as possible. I don't really have much to say on this. I just think I would like to see them play well early in the season, please.
I would too. My only thought is this is a very diplomatic answer to
Yeah.
say I don't want to throw my old teammates under the bus. I don't want to throw my new ones under the bus. Just say it different rates, move on.
Right after they talked to the field of 68, after the official A10 appearance, I'm shocked, honestly, that they showed on the field of 68. No, that's a lie. Of course they did. Um, they asked Avila how long it took before he knew he wanted to join Schertz, and we talked about this earlier. He said maybe about a good 30 minutes. Went on to talk about Schertz telling him he was leaving, then talking to his parents, grabbing some orange chicken from Panda Express, coming back to his apartment and calling back Schertz. Wherever you go, I'm there. I think I probably would have skipped the orange chicken and just said, like, that would have been my decision.
See what I would have done is I would have solicited an NIL brand deal and I just would have plugged whatever restaurant would pay me to say that that's what I contemplated. So I would have got the bag. I would have said I got myself a Club Lulu from Jimmy John's, and then I would have turned directly to the camera and said Jimmy John's Freaky Fast or something, and then I would have moved on. But yeah, kind of weird. Panda Express.
You would have done the Subway commercial? Like happy?
I would have done the community Subway bit where I would have named myself Subway.
Oh, okay.
So
That makes
Subway
sense.
Subway Avila. But yeah, I'm glad. This is no shock that the. I guess it's nice to have a concrete timeline, but that was the rumor. Once Schertz took the job, Robbie Avila is going to SLU. Like that was instantaneous.
Obviously when all it takes is 30 minutes in orange chicken, it's clear that there's a special relationship between Robbie Avila and Josh Schertz. They were asked about it, but it was also apparent in every answer where one had to talk about the other.
Yeah, I mean, even Schertz's opening remarks for the not field of 68, but just the regular A10, he said, "Oh, another year I got to carry Robbie around and on my back." Like they have, they probably have the closest relationship of any coach in a Billiken that we've seen in a long time. I don't know if there's someone I'm missing, but they're super super tight, and I think that one is an extension of the other, and just yeah, it's nice to see.
They both talked. Oh well, hold on. So yeah, they both talked about Avila's NBA aspirations. Schertz was frank about the feedback, being that he's got the tools but needs to get his body right. Are you surprised at how disciplined, you know, the weight program and the fitness program is?
I guess I don't really know. I I don't know enough about the SLU like strength and conditioning program. The only thing I really know is like Schertz's article about how he doesn't do dedicated sprints,
Yeah.
but I'm not surprised, honestly, at least with the NBA feedback that teams have said you got to get your body right. He has a super, super high IQ and he has a good skill set. He just needs to get a little bit more in shape
Yep.
and kind of increase his explosiveness, which I'm sure Robbie would tell you is it's probably a negative at this point. Um,
Thank
but
Cody Ellis.
yeah, I think though that if Robbie has two really transformational years, he could get a look in an NBA summer league. I don't
Yeah.
think it's out of the realm of possibility. He's a big man. I mean, you don't need to be like a freak. Um, Josh Aduro, who is not a great athlete, just signed with the Pelicans.
Yeah.
Like,
I think with Robbie, I mean, you look at, I think you, again, they call him the college Jokic, and I think you only have to look as far as Jokic to see that there was a major change in the way Denver played. Not only, they probably added some pieces, but when he got fit, he wasn't taking the physical side of the game as seriously.
yeah,
And then they kind of put it on him like, hey, man, I don't know if you know this, but like, you could be amazing.
yeah. And Jokic does have about 3 or 4 inches on Robbie and all that. But again, I don't think it's crazy with his skill level and his skill set that he could get a look in the NBA if he really works on his body. So
Yeah.
I hope I hope like hell that he gets to that point because that'd be cool. It'd be really cool.
He had some interesting things to say about Avila becoming an internet sensation. I kind of want to leave this to you because you are chronically online and a basketball fan.
Yeah, it. This is kind of the most interesting thing about Robbie Avila at SLU, and actually the whole Josh Schertz hiring experience. Because when is the last time we have had a Billiken that has this ubiquitous online presence? Maybe Jordan Jet. Whoa,
Yeah, right?
I'm good. I think my dog's barking at my upstairs neighbor. Um, Maybe Jordan Jet. But even Jordan Jet was like a niche college basketball thing. Random people that are not college basketball fans know who Robbie is,
Yeah.
and I think that that's really cool. I think that's what I like about Schertz talking about this, and well, I guess they both talked about it, but Schertz said it. Robbie hasn't changed; that he's just kind of who he is. He's very mature for his age. Um, and then it doesn't really matter how many interviews he does or what people make of him in mixtapes or what nicknames he has. He's still just Robbie, and he kind of just goes with the flow. And yeah, I think at the end of the day, the fame of Robbie is really cool, and I think that next year, especially, that SLU will probably get some cool opportunities as a result of it because a network is going to say, "Hey, we want to get this guy in a game." Once a team will agree to play SLU in a game because they know how good they're going to be. I I think you got to just market the hell out of them. Just
Yeah.
do that.
I mean, I think that's one thing you and I have talked about. By the way, I don't even remember how we ended up meeting. I think that's a conversation for one day. Because I have no memory of it. No offense. Um, but I think as long as you've been talking, like we've been begging for marketing to increase, and certainly I think it's obvious that they saw the value in Josh Schertz and at least trying to get Robbie Avila to transfer to SLU, not knowing that it would maybe happen or not. So I think that obviously they see the value in it, and I just hope that this upward trend of kind of marketing visibility continues.
My one marketing piece of advice
Oh, here we
for
go.
for the Billikens: do a goggles night.
Yes, it has to. I
I
I mean, you could literally, honestly, where are they? I'm trying to find them. What are the glasses? You could honestly just get a bunch of 3D glasses, but without the 3D lens, and give those away. Like that with slew on them. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. But
Robbie
just
Avila's facsimile signature.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And I don't know, tied in with NIL somehow. I don't know. I don't know exactly how to do it, but just do a goggles night. That's a bare minimum. I think that I'm interested to see what SLU does on game days
Yes.
from an NIL opportunity
So
standpoint.
so okay, so I do have some information on that.
Well, I would love to hear it.
Robbie Avila jerseys will be available in the Chaffetz shop.
That is a major development,
Yes.
and that is pretty cool.
The
That also feels bare
problem,
minimum.
the problem is that when you do that, you have to order them at full price, I think. So you will be paying probably essentially what is shipping as a premium to be able to get that in Chaffetz Arena.
So
That's the problem. But like I've talked with Peter about this many times. I think it would be like I think it's doing a disservice. Like if I were a player, I would, and it was like kids night or whatever, like club basketball night. Let's say that I would do that night to do my exclusive drop. That I would put like I would buy them and have somebody sell them outside the arena.
So I think I have two questions with this offering.
Yeah,
And one, is Robbie going to be the only guy that they're selling in the arena?
I did not probe, but it was only specified Robbie.
My other question, and I don't honestly remember from when I got down to a game last, do they still sell the Nike official jerseys?
Yep, they're in there.
See, that's just kind of the weird part where it's because I know the Robbie jersey will be more expensive than that.
Yeah. No, I don't think it will be. Will it?
Well, because the Nike ones were 75.
Yeah, it's gonna be more expensive.
So I just hope that they don't cannibalize each other's sales.
Yeah.
I wish the NIL ones, and I love the NIL store. I
Yeah.
think they're doing some great things. I just wish you could slap a Nike logo on there because that would solve like
Every problem.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's good to know that it'll be there. And I think that having a guy of his magnitude and marketability is, I'm not going to say it's as big as Josh Schertz, but man, it's pretty close.
It might be bigger.
We'll see. I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see how many casual St. Louisans come out for Robbie Avila.
I think I want to make this a point. And look, right now, you've done a great job in the offseason with the marketing. Like you have to remind people that these games are happening, that Robbie Avila is here in St. Louis, because people don't give a shit until you tell them to. Like
100%.
I'm talking about the casual sports fan, right?
The casual sports fan that
has
even
already
really
forgotten
know.
that Robbie Avila is in St. Louis.
I mean, there's a good chunk of casual sports fan in this market that would go to a game that probably don't know that Travis Ford isn't the coach anymore.
That's true. Somebody, where was I? I don't know, but I was talking to somebody who was kind of tangentially interested in Billiken basketball, but not really. And they're like, "Oh, Travis Ford, he's coaching there or not? Is he back?" And I was like, "Oh no, they fired him." And so, I mean, there are a lot of people that just don't pay attention. Like, again, there are levels to like, there are people who get the new, like, they only check SLU through the newspaper, or that only check SLU through whenever tweets get retweeted. So, I mean, you've got to continuously probe the city of St. Louis and let them know that we're going to have a team this year.
100%. And I think that's a good transition to his last quote.
Yeah, the preseason expectations, and then I want to get your expectations and your kind of take on how this season might go. He said the bandwidth is huge. By the way, great corporate jargon. Love when somebody asks if you have bandwidth. The bandwidth is huge. We've got so many new pieces. Can we be a championship team if we do these things? Absolutely. But everyone's got to buy into roles. If we're the best version of ourselves, man, no ceiling on what we can accomplish.
So before I go into my expectations,
Yes.
Josh Schertz is a big corporate jargon guy. Like,
Oh,
there was
because
not
because he's not a well, he's a basketball
he
junkie, but he's not
yes.
like a he's like he's the guy when they say get the nerds out of the game, he's the nerd they're talking about.
Yes. He did in a previous article this summer explained their lack of continuity in their system is a lack of corporate continuity, I want to say. He used an exact
What in
word.
tarnation?
It was a very strange way to, or no, corporate knowledge. He said we're lacking corporate knowledge, and he likened it to like companies not having managerial experience. So he's a big business world equated to basketball. So just want to throw that out there.
Sounds like
Yeah.
you. You guys should date.
Josh Schertz and us would get along very well. I have no doubt. Um, you asked about our expectations, and it's funny because I was talking about this with the other guy on WestPineBills earlier today. I think it is top three in the A10, so not top four. And with each passing day as we get closer to the season, I think this team is going to make the NCAA tournament. I'm growing more and more confident that that is going to happen. The more we talk to people that have been to practice, the more we read about this team. I think that there are guys that are not being accounted for by the national media that are going to be really good players for this team.
Yeah.
And I think this team is going to have a very good non-conference and is going to be an at-large quality team. I'll go a step further and say at-large quality.
I'm gonna drop some before we get out of men's basketball because I wanna extend men's basketball as long as we absolutely possibly can. Um, but I'll throw this out there. This will be fun for those who enjoy the lore of this show. Not to say that in a non big headed way. So I was chatting up Chris May at the field hockey game on Friday. Uh, uh, that's a sentence I said. Um, and he mentioned two guys to me. And one I am trying to figure out where it's all coming from. It's kind of like I don't necessarily want to equate him to Billy Lang because that's just really harsh. But like I don't see like I guess I'll equate it to like Kim English hype, right? Like I just don't like I can see he's good at what he does, but like I just can't see it. But Kellen Thames, he was really talking up Kellen Thames. I'm wondering what your expectations are because everyone is like Jack Godar's hyped on Kellen Thames, and kind of like everybody tangentially related to the program is hyping Kellen Thames.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know the genesis of the Kellen Thames hype. And I say that as someone who is very excited about Kellen this year. But you're right, there seems to be almost a targeted effort to be
Yes,
like, hey, like Kellen Thames is going to be a dude this year, which I don't disagree with. Kellen Thames out of high school was a do-it-all 6'7" point guard for Pattonville who almost averaged a triple-double in high school. I mean, very, very good high school player, a little under the radar with national recruiting, but we
that'll
always have
happen when
like,
you play in the shadow of Sarah's
yeah,
Pizza.
like, like we've always been high on Kellen Thames. And last year, he had a really good year. And the only real knock against him is that he didn't play more.
Yeah,
And part of it was stamina because he was kind of gassed early in the year. And part of it was just Ford not playing him enough at the end of the year. So now circling back to like this year, Josh Schertz at his introductory press conference, or maybe right after, it was right after because they didn't announced they were returning. But he essentially said that there were 3 guys from last year's team they wanted to keep, and they kept all 3 of them. That they wanted to keep Gibson, Larry, and Kellen. And ever since then, it's been like, okay, Josh Schertz, he's a fit for him, whatever. And it's not really hard to look at what Kellen Thames did last year and say, hey, this guy's a natural fit. He shot a ridiculous percentage from the field. It was in the high 50s. Good 3-point shooter, but with the caveat that he didn't take a ton of attempts for either one of them. He can pass, he can dribble, he can rebound. He was one of like 2 defenders on last year's team. I am really high on what Kellen Thames can do under Josh Schertz. I just personally haven't seen any practices to know, like, hey, I can see him doing this, and it rocks. I know that you've been there for at least one of the scrimmages. I don't know about another. I
he
trust
just hasn't really
seen him.
He just hasn't really. I didn't think he stood out. Mm-hmm. Now that could mean he just didn't get the ball in his hand during the scrimmage all that often, or maybe I just was not paying attention because I'm a millennial with the attention span of a gnat. But yeah, I don't like. Again, I think he is an absolute freak athlete. I think that when he puts together the basketball skills with his athleticism, I think he's going to be. I think it's entirely possible that he's better than TJ ever ended up being in college. It's possible this year that he exceeds that.
I'm glad you brought up TJ Hargrove, because as much as I love TJ and as good as he was in his super senior year,
what an insane run of like shots that dude had.
Yeah, I think Kellen Thames will be better.
Can we discuss whether TJ Hargrove has the clutch gene? Because I think he does. Like, he's not the 100%. Best player. He's not he's never been the best player on a Billiken team, but the dude like just makes shots when it counts, and it's bizarre.
TJ Hargrove is, if nothing else, a showman.
Yes. WWE, AEW, somebody sign this guy.
Yes.
Please.
100%. And actually, he's off to a decent start in his pro career. I can't remember where in Europe he's at, but he's putting up decent numbers.
You can wrestle well into your 60s, TJ. Look at Ric Flair. If Ric Flair can do it on cocaine and
copious amounts of steroids,
steroids, and beer, light beer. Actually, probably not even light beer. He was probably drinking the heavy and liquor. If he can do it for 60 years, by golly, TJ Hargrove, you would make a ton of money at wrestling.
So I will say, though, I think that's a good comp is kind of a relative contribution level. One, let me preface this. I don't think Kellen Thames is going to start at any point this year, barring injury. So I find it interesting that a lot of people are like, oh, Kellen. That's not saying he won't play. I'm not going to take his impact as much as like Kaluanya or Josiah Dosler, who are the 2 guys that I think are the X factors on this team. But I do think Kellen could be a really impactful player as someone who gets reserve minutes at the guard and forward spots. Now, one thing I do want to talk about with Kellen, and I think you guys brought this up after Billiken basketball night, was that he was awarded a red shirt after his freshman year when he got hit by a car. And
sorry, that's not funny, but it's kind of funny.
No,
it's funny now.
It's unfortunate, but there's a good chance that Kellen Thames could get 3 years under Josh Schertz. And I think that, you want to talk about impact. Kellen Thames could have a really big impact next year as well as the year after.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that he's like a really, really good upperclassman starter for this program based on the foundation he builds this year. I don't think he's going to force his hand enough to unseat Swope or Gibson in the starting lineup.
Right.
And I don't think that Schertz would play him as a power forward. So I am into him, and there are 2 guys I do want to talk about, though. I don't know, did Chris May give you any other guys?
Yes, he did. He did. I was getting to that. And it is and I have to be careful because I always say that in my head when I say this person's name, I say another person's name, and it's Amari McCautry.
Interesting, because so Amari from videos we've seen is the biggest freshman I've ever seen at SLU, like upper body wise. He's defined.
I'm
I'm
looking.
not. I'm
Wait,
not.
hold on. Are we including Mr. Hassan French?
Guards.
Oh, okay. Well, some would say Hassan kind of had some guard in him.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I'm full of shit. Just go on.
I was gonna say liberal use of the word guard
Yes.
there. Um, I love Amari McCautry, and actually, the other half of West Pine Bills like thinks that he should be like a top 7 guy in the rotation because he's just obsessed with him.
Oh, do we
I
need to call somebody? Do we need to?
No, he's not available at the moment.
No.
Could get his rapid reaction though if I texted him. Um, I'm not sure how much Amari's going to play,
Yeah.
and that's nothing about him. That's just it's a numbers game, and it's Schertz saying he likes a 7 or 8 man rotation. Um, I'm glad to hear he's doing well in practice though, and hopefully there's some blowout minutes that he can actually get some game experience, or Josh Schertz plays a much deeper rotation than what he's alluded to, because
Yeah.
I do think that he's got some. If you want to look at something that's a potential weakness or shortcoming of this team, it's defensively. And I think Amari McCautry has like some big time defensive chops that could be very valuable in this mix. But it's good if he forces someone's hand and he's in the rotation, I will be thrilled because that dude has upside for days.
Yeah, I mean, I forget he exists because we have so many guys that kind of take the spotlight. It's hard to keep track, honestly.
It really is, and I think there's 3 guys I would like to talk about.
Let's talk about him.
So 2 of them we tweeted out this week that, we think that they're going to shock some people. And there's a third guy that no one is talking about at all.
Okay.
But I want to start with the 2 guys that I think
Can I guess one?
you can guess.
Dotzler is on this list.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I think so. So Dotzler and Kalu Anya, who I know that we've talked a little bit about, but I kind of wanted to have some long form Kalu thoughts. And then the third guy that no one's talking about whatsoever is Kobe Johnson,
Oh,
who from everything we've heard has done a significant rework of his shot from the time he arrived on campus to now, and is looking much more consistent from 3. And he also is a guy with 20 plus starts in the Big 12, which you can't discount experience, and that's some pretty big time experience, even if he was on a bad West Virginia team. But Dotzler and Anya are guys that I want to talk more about. Dotzler is definitely a mystery. I think that him being at Creighton and not getting much time because he was just in a stacked locker room is kind of fun. I won't say he's a lottery ticket, but it's kind of like, hey, this guy was practicing against good guys all the time. Maybe that rubbed off on him. But I think the videos we've seen of him is like he's a 6'3" guard with some really nice polish, has decent shooting form. We've heard from people at a practice that he's a little bit out of control at sometimes, but it's not like a stupid out of control. He's a playmaker and just doesn't necessarily have the timing down yet.
yeah.
I don't know. You've seen him play live. Do you have thoughts on him to this point?
Dotzler, look, my contacts within the fan base at Creighton, they were sad to see him go. So I mean, look, like his family's Creighton royalty. He's got like this massive support system. Seems like a good head on his shoulders. Um, and I also really like the idea that he was behind a bunch of great players, not necessarily the practice aspect, but like just the fact that he's probably good. Like if he had a spot on that Creighton team, he was probably worth it.
He was Mr. Basketball in
Yeah.
Nebraska, and I don't really care how good of a basketball state you come from. If you're named the best player in your state, you have to be halfway decent. You just have to be. And
Yeah.
I think you're right. He comes from Creighton royalty. His brother was a really good player at Creighton, if memory serves.
Yes.
Um, I want to say his team lost like 2 games total his junior and senior year of high school. That's not nothing. Um, I have a feeling that he's going to be really good. And I'm not saying he'll be Ryan Conwell at Indiana State, but
He
if
better
there's
be, or he can get out of
I'm
here.
just I'm just saying if there's a guy that's going to take that Ryan Conwell leap from like a who was like a 2 point per game scorer at USF and then broke out and became a one of the most sought after transfers in college basketball, it's gonna be Josiah Dosler. He fits that
Yeah.
mold.
I think that's the guy that I think is the one that nobody's really talking about that really could crack the rotation and be a steady presence in the backcourt.
I,
I think
I'll do
again, Creighton
I'll
has that Creighton has that vibe where like they don't mess around with bad players.
no, and I'll do you one better. I don't think he's just gonna crack the rotation. I think he's gonna start day one.
Don't
I think he's
say?
gonna I think he's gonna be the starting point guard.
Okay.
I I just have that feeling he's gonna start at point guard.
Okay.
Um, but let's talk Kuluanya because I think that there's more
Yes.
tape on him. He's had great quotes. I know you guys have touched on it.
He has blown me away in all of the like practices.
He's a grown ass man.
Yeah.
He is he is certainly not as athletic, but man, he reminds me a lot of Hassan French. That's kind of a weird it's a weird thing. It's just a presence thing with him, but his approach to rebounding, where he wants to lead the conference in rebounding, um, his willingness to be a guy that they can run the offense through, like him talking about embracing his role with Robbie being out as kind of the hub
Yeah.
of the offense, his IQ with the game. I think Kuluanya is going to be an absolute monster, and I agree with you that I think he ends up on an all conference team at the end of the year. I think he's going to be one of the best players in this league.
Yeah. I mean, again, like I've said that there is major value in transfers from the Ivy League.
Definitely. And
Uh,
usually you don't get them until their senior year because they graduate in 3 years.
right.
Getting a guy like this for potentially 2 seasons is, and granted, you can't put the horse before the carrot or whatever the I don't know what the expression is. Um, uh, you can tell I've had a long day. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but man, I'm jacked up at the thought of this guy being here for 2 years. I think
Oh
he's
yeah.
going to be he's going to be a crucial player on this team, especially as a guy with some defensive chops. He, I believe, was the only player in the Ivy last year to average over a steal and block per game. Love Robbie Avila. You need a guy at the four that can defend with
Mhm.
Robbie on the court. Kuluanya is going to have a major role to play defensively, and he's a guy like I'm sure you're going to the exhibition on Friday night.
Oh yeah, that's happening. I forgot
He's
about
a
that.
guy
Ah!
that he's a guy that people are going to be locked into watching because major X factor. The term X factor is overused in terms of sports analysis.
Yeah.
Kluan is an X factor. If he truly is the rebounder that he says he's going to be, and he's like a 10 and 10 guy, Sue's going to be really damn good.
Yeah. I'm really excited about this team. I think there's so many good parts and the leadership is really strong. And I just I can't wait for Friday, even though I did forget that it was happening.
uh,
It just all sneaks up on me.
people will preemptively ask the question. Unfortunately, Friday and the following exhibition, which the date I do not know off the top of my head, will not be televised. SLU just does not.
Yeah, no, yeah. I think
SLU does not televise exhibition games. So if you are in town, go get a look at the team. There's a lot more to watch than Robbie Avila, but go out there. I would love to be there and go. Just I can't. So I'm jealous of everyone that can't go. But if you are there, post videos. I will consume any video.
Let's brainstorm. What I really hope they lean into the production value of the games this year. Speaking of which,
I'm interested to see if they do anything different.
Yeah. By the way, if you can't afford to do the fire every game, don't do the fire at all.
I agree with that.
Just do CO2. You don't have to have the fire marshal or whatever.
Yeah, do the smoke.
Not even the smoke, just like CO2, the CO2 blast. Like they would do it like hockey games.
Doesn't that make a little smoke?
It might.
It's like steam. I don't know.
No,
I get what you're saying. But I think let's call a spade a spade. Last year, SLU had
no interest in doing anything. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I wouldn't either. Like that's what happens when. Yeah.
Like if no one's there, don't pay for it.
Yeah. But then you get into like you give Travis Ford a reason to be like, well, look, like they didn't like.
Sure.
I know it's stupid. No, I'm playing devil's advocate. Yeah, I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, but I will say this year, last year attendance averaged, I don't know, 5,200 a game or something pretty pathetic. This year, SLU should average like 7,000, 7,500 attendance. There will be games that don't have a lot of people there because students are on break and whatever.
Division two.
Yeah, which, that sucks, but that's what it is.
By the way, a forgotten part of this game or this season is that game between who's it, Quinnipiac and Lowell.
Yeah.
There's a game.
That I know that probably no casual St. Louisans will show up to that game. That game is going to rock. Like those.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Because I haven't had a chance to soapbox on the schedule.
Go ahead. Go off, King!
There has been much talk this year about the schedule being underwhelming, which I understand for season ticket holders.
Yeah.
There's lacking name brand out of conference opponents.
Yep.
I don't think this schedule is that bad.
It's not.
By average opponent ranking via T rank, which is like the only thing out right now.
Mm-hmm.
SLU has like the third best non-conference in the A10. There's just a lack of like an Auburn or a Memphis or there's that big draw that's not there. But like the MT, it sucks that the Jacksonville Classic fell apart on you because a couple power conference teams knocked out and SLU didn't want to play in it. I don't know if anyone has looked at that field. It's awful. Like what that tournament ended up being, it is bad. And the fact that they're bringing in Quinnipiac and UMass Lowell, two teams that will be in contention in their low major leagues.
Yeah.
Look, I get they're not going to do anything for you analytically, but those are two teams that might be dancing. Wofford. Yeah, we have Wofford this year, right? I think it's not part of that.
We do. Wednesday, December 18th.
Yeah, their team. They might be dancing.
Yeah.
San Francisco on the road. That's a good game. At Grand Canyon. That's a great game. Grand Canyon is going to be flirting with top 25 all year.
Please refer to them with their full name. Cult of the Grand Canyon. Thank you.
And some might say Phoenix is not anywhere near the Grand Canyon. Not me.
That's true. Some would say that.
Some. Well, I hate that I actually know why they're called Grand Canyon and where they're at. It's a conversation for a different time, and I don't need to give that school any respect. Also, while we're talking schedule, the Wichita State game tip time was released.
Oh my God! PM. We didn't get into that, did we? I don't even know.
8:30 PM.
Thank you for bringing that up because that needed to be on the notes that I didn't update.
I kind of love that late tip. It's 8:30 PM.
You and Pete, what is this? What this is an ambush.
It is great to have a good late night college basketball game. It is great.
I feel like John Malkovich in Burn After Reading. This is an assassination.
Well, here, you know what, Zach? Let's play a little thought experiment.
All right.
You are in St. Louis and you want to go to that game and you don't want to take time off work.
It's true. I like it.
It's doable.
I like it. It's doable.
I
like that. I like that reasoning.
I think a nice late night,
Are you going to be there?
No, I have an early morning flight the next day out of Chicago. I will not be able to attend.
Will the other half of you be there?
TBD.
I want to do something. I want to do a Billiken Twitter thing. I want to do a live show, but there's nobody's going to show up to that.
Well, we can talk offline about it. There might be some dates that work. But no, I think it's cool to have a late night tip. I mean, the alternative, they had this event before on a weekday, and it was like a 2:00 and a 4:00. That would be.
Well, we have the 2:00 game up in
South Dakota. Yeah. I understand people's reluctance to the 9 or
will that be the first? Will that be the first regular season game of basketball?
No, we're not even the first game in that event.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's 2 before us.
Oh my.
Yeah,
I thought about it. That's not a bad having that game on a Monday.
It's not terrible.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's super cheap to get up there, but to get hotels up there.
Yeah, I was looking at it. I'm not trying to swing it with work.
Yeah, no.
I will say a side note, random scheduling nugget for people looking ahead to 2028. The NCAA released their calendar.
Yeah.
The season is going to start on October 30th in 2028.
That's a little scary.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Though I want Sue to play a Halloween game that year. Don't play on opening day. Play on Halloween. Let people get nice and drunk. Trick or treat. Do a trunk or treat or some shit. Yeah, 100%.
Make a night of it.
Not the Weber lot because that's pretty much gone.
Well, you could do the
Compton.
You could do you could do the Weber lot, or you could do have all the teams set up a table to give out candy.
Good point.
You can
anyway,
have
circling back.
Go.
Circling back to this year's schedule, I don't think it is nearly as bad as people making it out to be. I do think there is a valid complaint that home games are a little underwhelming, but home games don't really build a resume. So if SLU is dancing, it's going to be because they had these good road and neutral opportunities. So
yeah, I'm excited for this season. I can't wait for it to get started. For real, I'm still iffy on exhibition games. I think there's a certain section. Oh, go ahead.
I think you asked me about our expectations.
Yeah.
Where does Midtown land on expectations for the season?
I just hope everyone has fun. No, I think. Where do I stand? I don't know where Pete stands, but I think we should, beat Dayton at home, beat VCU at home, beat top 3, and hopefully the top 3 are good enough to all go dancing again.
I really hope so. I'm a little higher on the A10 than most, and I think that this is the year that the conference gets 3 bids. I just want SLU to be one of them because I don't really care what happens with the rest of the league.
Tell you the truth, I hate the rest of the league.
I don't hate.
I hate them. They all suck.
Hate. I like.
I gotta hate. If you got hate in your heart, let it out. If you got hate in your heart, let it out.
I like LaSalle.
LaSalle is adorable. I'm excited for next year. I'm going to that arena next year.
It looks nice. It looks really nice.
I mean, I think everyone finally everyone agrees that downsizing was the best thing they could have possibly done.
I honestly think half of the A10 should follow their lead.
SLU could downsize.
Shafit should be about 7,000 seats.
7,500.
7,500.
I'll give you. You got to take. You can't have 7,000 sucks. Yeah, it's so sub 7,500, 7,500. Like just visually,
Yeah, yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. I would I would
you
if I
know,
could
it
do
was.
it Chaffetz over again.
Do you know about the original renderings?
No,
The
no.
original renderings were like what is it? It's 12. Is it 10.5 or 12.5 now?
I think it's 12.
Yeah, I think so too. Um, it was supposed to be bigger.
Oh, it's 10-6, 10-6.
Okay, it was going to be like 12.5, 13.5. It was going to have a upper concourse.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I
Also, it was going to have not pillars, steeples, I think, on each corner,
oh,
which would have been neat.
I think
It was
man,
gonna. I think it was gonna look a little more like uh medieval, or you know what I mean, like a little more fancy.
yeah. I know we've
Like
talked
so.
I know we've
What?
talked about doing a what if episode at
Yeah.
some point. There's a lot of what if with attendance
Yeah.
and architecture
They
that
could have. They could have cut off the upper level, and it would have been a crazy ass atmosphere.
they could have, but they also could have built a bigger arena and like if stuff happens differently with Majerus or
Yeah.
his replacement, that that you're packed 12,000 to the
Yeah.
gills every night. Again, the the prevailing theme of the majority of SLU basketball history is what if,
Yeah. Oh
and
God.
there are so
I
many.
don't wonder if that's everybody. You know. Yeah. I wonder if that's
It
everybody.
definitely is. It definitely is. I mean, what if George Mason built off their Final Four run that they've never made an NCAA tournament since?
Yeah.
There's a ton of things you can do like that, but I think Chaffetz, in hindsight, probably could have been a little bit smaller, but that's also with the benefit of hindsight of
Right.
what the program has been since Chaffetz was incepted. Because obviously, the three Majerus tournament years, Chaffetz was an absolute zoo.
Yo, dude. I
And
mean,
if it gets back to that, oh my god.
I don't know it. Like that could, like with the way I've kind of changed my viewpoint on like large gatherings. I don't. If we get really good, I may end up like watching every game from home because I just don't want to sit next to people for 2 hours. Like I don't know. It's weird. I've gotten so weird. Like I
There,
don't like. I like going to the women's soccer games and the men's soccer games when I can like lean back on the row behind me. Like I can't go to games when that place is packed and not just stand the whole. I have to stand the whole time. I can't be in that.
see, I see your point, but I also
My
think
point is
that,
terrible, but
but I
like,
also,
yeah,
yeah, no, I get it. I enjoy having a place to myself. For people behind the curtain, I'm a Bears fan. They played in London today. I was gonna go to a bar at 8:30 this morning to watch them, and then I thought about it. I'm like, I don't want to be around people right now. I watched from my couch. It was great. I had a cup of coffee, sitting on my couch, was just able to watch football. I get your point entirely. I also think some of the best times I've had at Chaffetz are
yes,
the few in my time as a fan, like a serious fan from when I walked on campus, because I followed him when I was in high school. Um, but I didn't go down to any games during the Jordair Jet senior season. I would have loved to be there for it. The closest I've come to that are a couple games against Dayton when they hosted Auburn, a few other times. And Chaffetz has been an absolute blast, but it wasn't like sold out, sold out. It
yeah,
was quote unquote sold out, where they accounted for 90% of tickets or whatever, but the actual attendance was probably like 8,000.
yeah,
Um, I would love to be in Chaffetz when there are 10,600 butts and seats. That would be a dream come true. And honestly, if this team is any good, they could get to that. I
yeah,
think that when you have a marketable star, when you have a senior Gibson Jimerson that is a household name for the more casual fan, it could happen. I don't know if it will based on season ticket sales, but I would like it to happen. I would like when I'm down for the Arch Baron Cup on January 31st. I would love for that place to be an absolute zoo and people coming out of the rafters.
You know what bums me out a little bit is that if let's say SLU gets out hot here, let's think conservatively they lose.
Grand
Like,
Canyon.
no, well, my question was: is Grand Canyon the first like loss you see here.
Let me pull
Because
up the schedule.
look, if SLU beats Grand Canyon at Grand Canyon, that next game should be Bedlam
Yes.
packed. But it's
Well,
It's William fucking
yeah.
Woods. It's William fucking Woods.
So what I would say, walking through the schedule, I could see them losing to Santa Clara. Santa Clara's really good.
Yes.
I could see them losing to Wichita State because it's neutral, but it's pretty close to Wichita.
And
Kansas.
Wichita State fans are fucking different.
Yeah, they are. At San Fran is pretty damn tough. But Grand Canyon is the hardest game on the schedule.
Grand Canyon will probably be ranked.
It is the hardest game on the schedule, period. Yeah. Like they're the best team we're going to play all year. Now, your William Woods point, yes, it should be packed. It won't be. Then they go on the road at Fordham. The St. Joe's game, it's a Friday 10 game. That should be packed, but students aren't on campus.
Oh.
That's... like, if you want to talk about momentum in attendance, even the 8th against St. Bonaventure, I don't know if students are back yet.
This brings up a great point about like scheduling for momentum. Well, not only on the court, but like marketing. Like there's a method that could be employed.
Honestly, looking at the schedule, and I haven't thought about this to this point, there's not a ton of opportunities to get students on campus for good opponents until like January 18th. Because
January 18th at Richmond.
Sorry, I misread that.
January 22nd. 28th.
28th. Like, because if you look at it, okay, neutral, home against a non-D1. Loyola Marymount will be good, not great on November 16th. Quinnipiac and UMass Lowell, students won't be on campus. I guess they might be for Quinnipiac. Jackson State, they should be on campus on December 2nd.
By the way, we have not been on the document in like a half hour.
No.
This is completely off the rails, guys. Which is great, which is fine. I'm perfectly happy.
Home against Chicago State. Chicago State's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
That's a game you probably need some weird marketing to get people to come out. Wofford, I think students will be gone by that point or pretty close to it. Again, I haven't really looked at it and sat down with it. Unless students want to see them come blow the doors off some people, which they might.
Yeah. This is brutal for students.
It is brutal for students. So there might be some real sickos in the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, look, like you said, Loyola Marymount, you'll have students there. You're looking at the 25th and 27th. That's Thanksgiving.
The 25th, I think students are still on campus, but like,
I mean, they're lingering barely.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's Jackson State will be a student game. Like, there's not many student games on this. It's going to take a lot of marketing to get students out. And I hope that I hope they're ready. I hope they've done a great job so far, I think, marketing this program. And yes. I hope they, do you know what we should do? We should do something. We should go look at the SLU NIL store.
Ooh, okay.
Because we haven't
looked at it in a while. I do know that Robbie was a top 10 selling jersey in the nation this month.
Okay, can we discuss this whole like how like the rankings? I don't understand these rankings at all.
I don't understand them, but if
you roll with it,
if they keep saying SLU is doing well, I'm like, this is great.
Yeah, I like the new site, by the way.
The site is way different than the last time.
It is way different. They just updated it.
See, okay. Training schools, Belmont. Who's buying Belmont? South Dakota?
Yeah. I can understand South Dakota, right? That's a small town. These are made for the small town. By the way, what is that hoodie or that sweatshirt? That is that is a weird looking sweatshirt. Like the hem here. Oh, am I not sharing it?
Screen? No.
Oh my God, I've been assuming I've been sharing. Look at this hem.
Oh, that is weird.
Isn't that a
I
weird
thought you were
cut?
talking about the pepper throwback hoodie, the Jackson Delkus one.
Oh, what?
It's on NIL exclusive drive. Also, okay, I'm on the main page.
Okay.
Baylor,
Oh, whoa, Jackson Delkus just I didn't see
the
he
hoodie,
dropped one.
the hoodie's wild. So my favorite thing on this entire site, besides the Robbie Avila stuff, there's a Baylor shirt that just says "We pay players." I love that. I love it.
Man, Marcus Dupree's pissed right now. Is he's still alive, right? I don't know.
I think so.
You got yeah, I did not know. I did this is dude, they're coming fast and furious now. It was really a slow burn for a while. What is the pepper? I don't understand what's the reference
I
there.
I have no idea.
Dude, that shirt. Look at the distressed black shirt. This is like this is like the wolf pack shirt.
It is. It's so
It's a
like
it's almost a wrestling t-shirt, but it's
it's
not.
close. The thing is, I like a lot of the stuff they have. I think Larry Hughes and Robbie probably have the best basketball ones.
Yeah.
Um,
Percelli's, yeah.
I like Percelli's a lot too.
Yeah. I the one in the Billiken, like you could probably ignore. Yeah. It's nice.
I do. Have you bought one of the jerseys or no?
Not yet.
I gotta figure out who I want to buy.
By the way, if anybody wants to buy me a jersey, that would be I'm a size large. Um Hannah Larson's got a new drop. It's very, very,
I like
nice
I like
design.
I like how much they have though, which some it's not everything isn't for everyone, but
Yeah,
like you said, they're dropping them quickly, they're updating them.
yeah. I like Sawyer's, but I like everything Hannah Sawyer. So like that's the homegirl.
Like,
Delaney Rice. Yeah, I like this. I like that
man,
look.
they even now have slews like walk-on players on here.
Oh wow.
Like Isaac
I
Holmes.
mean like Seth Anderson's got a drop. He's got the pepper. Well, not he doesn't have the pepper. He has
I would love to know what that is.
that what
The pepper.
the reference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like what? I'm
Lindsay
missing something.
Hackle. She's going out here. How about did you see where Beatty had took the picture wearing Trinity
Oh yeah, with
Luckets? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's sweet. That's such a Beatty thing to do. Um Peyton Kennedy's drop. We've seen that. By the way, Peyton Kennedy and a couple of the women's basketball players were out at the field hockey senior night. And then
We
of course,
also went way off the rails, but Peyton Kennedy was also preseason all conference, correct?
yeah, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get
Okay.
there.
Okay. I was like, I don't want to
Um,
dismiss women's
let's
basketball.
see. Do they have them in the jerseys?
They
No,
haven't.
Isaac
Yeah,
Holmes.
scroll all the way to the bottom. Isaac
I
Holmes is
yeah, I
all the way
see
at the bottom.
it. No, it's right here.
Oh, because he had like jerseys and other stuff too.
Oh, well, yeah,
But it
no.
looks like the jersey though is using last year with the
It
stripes on the
is.
side.
It is.
Got to get that updated.
No, that it looks the same exact. It's the same exact template as the giveaway jerseys.
I just hope it's slightly better
Am
quality.
I an asshole bringing that up?
No,
Like
because
that the way
you've said that before.
uh
I would expect these are probably a little better quality than
yes,
those,
yes. I'm
but
saying that it's the same like
yeah, the same
imprinting.
design.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. See,
Warlick.
don't NIL store close your ears for this. If I
Yeah.
buy any of these, I am going to buy like a Nike patch and I'm just going to sew it on. I'm just going to take matters into my own hands.
That's funny. I mean, this is let's see, sports. They've got swimming and diving. I still, I mean, that's yeah. It's why I love the baseball jersey. I wonder, wait,
The
where are
baseball
the
jerseys are
jerseys? There they are.
yeah,
They're very
they're pretty
nice.
cool.
I think like it just kind of it works.
Yeah.
Whether it's a Nike jersey, it can pass like there's something about those jerseys that don't bother me if they're not Nike.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. I don't know. Maybe because I'm just so used to them not ever being Nike anyway.
Yeah, because that was a pretty recent change.
Yeah, they've been like Rawlings or whatever. Like volleyball, if I were to get something volleyball, like I'd prefer it to be Nike because they've always been Nike. But yeah, again, get out to the NIL store. We're not getting paid by any of these companies. We just want to see. Can you get a McGuire jersey yet? Actually, I haven't checked that.
I haven't seen it scrolling through.
Easton Wassinger, Ian Blazier, Austin Newegg, Shipley, Heat or Beatty, sorry. Rather Stressler, Gomrick. Well, you have Gomrick already. Halverson, Reed. Holy smokes! There's everybody, dude. I need to know if there's a McGuire. That's all I want to know.
They have all the names on top. There isn't one yet.
Oh, no. Okay.
So on the top, you can scroll left to right for all the
Got
names,
it.
and it's in alphabetical order.
Got it. Okay. Well, that was fun. Yeah, I don't know what else. I mean, anything else basketball related? Anything you need to pontificate about?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Just really excited for this season. I'm excited to hear people's accounts from the exhibition on Friday. I know that Robbie is supposed to be returning to action in the next couple of weeks,
Yeah.
based on the timeline they laid out, and he said he's healing up good. So I'm I'm very anxiously awaiting the tip off, which will be 3 weeks from when this episode drops.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
It's gonna be a great time. Whether here's all we can say. No matter what happens this
Cover
year,
your bases after you handpicked shirts.
I know. No matter what happens this year, it is going to be an infinite improvement in terms of enjoyability. This is going to be a fun season, at the very least. Everything else is going to be gravy.
Yep, absolutely. Let's move over to the women's basketball side of things. Oh, by the way, if you haven't gone over to twomeninthegarden.com, if you haven't gone to Schnucks, Deerberg's, any other local grocery, Straub's, I think they have it too. I think that's where that bougie guy Peter goes and gets his when he comes to town. If you haven't gone and picked up 2 Men in the Garden salsa or pickles, whichever you prefer, if you like pickles, they have great pickles. If you like salsa, they have great salsa. If you like both, they have both. They're local. All of their products taste amazing. They have their Kitchen Hub STL partner products. Just really, really nice local offerings on their website, twomeninthegarden.com. Go check them out. Go order some salsa and let them know that the Midtown Madness sent you. On the women,
can I interject for 1
second?
Yes,
absolutely.
So as a guest on this podcast, I'm not even sponsored by 2 Men in a Garden. I have had their salsa; it is phenomenal, and I've also used the pickling pouches. Those things are incredible. Best bang for your buck.
I mean, that's somebody who's not getting paid. That's yeah.
They are on my list of things I pick up at a grocery store every time I'm down in St. Louis. I come back with about $50 worth of various local eatery sauces, salsas, everything, and it's 2 Men in a Garden is part of that rotation. So that's my free ad of the week.
They appreciate that. I'll let Joel. I'll give Joel a heads up to listen on this episode for the ad read. A10 Media Day on the women's side. Monday, October 7th. Preseason poll. SLU was picked 7th behind number 1 Richmond, St. Joe's, George Mason, Davidson, VCU, and Duquesne. Ahead of number 8 Rhode Island, Fordham, Loyola, Dayton, George Washington, UMass, Bonaventure, and then LaSalle picking up the rear. Any thoughts here? I know you get into the women's side a little bit, but not as much as Pete and I really have to dive into it.
Yeah, so I'm obviously not following it as intently as you guys are, but I do watch about 90% of the women's game, and I do follow the program quite a bit. Um, I think again, like the men, this is a really fair ranking. When you're losing two of your anchors of the last, well, for Julie Martinez, 5 years, but the last two, especially with McMakin and Julie Martinez, that is a ton of production. Obviously, Peyton Kennedy returning and Kennedy Calhoun is like a massive, massive win in terms of a continuity standpoint. But I do have a lot of questions of exactly how good this team is going to be.
Yeah.
And I think that 7 is like, I think it's very fair.
It's middle.
I trust Rebecca Tillett that they're going to be playing their best ball at the end of the season. Their non-conference is a beast, and I honestly have no idea how they're going to look before January.
Yeah, it's entirely possible that beast of a schedule is the reason they look good at the end of February.
Which was the case, I think, 2 years ago when they really got on that hot run. But then last year they played a decent non-conference and it didn't really come together in the same way. And obviously they won the women's NIT, but it didn't gel in the same way.
Yeah, I think you see how I think that's so much of college basketball when you lose a player, and it's kind of like when you have a Stanley Cup team that has, and I know you're not a huge hockey guy, but you have those young guys that kind of fill those roles with those, in college, and then you have the mid guys, and then you have the superstars. In college, you have to replace guys. You have to replace seniors every year.
Yep.
So, and you're almost always replacing a major contributor, and that's got to come from somewhere. And I think that is what we're looking at here is, who is going to step up, because we haven't seen anybody who has been ready to make that jump to the Julia Martinez role. You've got Kennedy Calhoun, but she has not had that specific role. So I think it's how they elevate their game. The ones that have played the more passive roles.
Yeah, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but two of the players towards not the back end of the rotation last year, but who weren't in featured roles were pretty highly rated JUCO players.
Yeah.
2 seasons ago. I think one of them was Brooklyn Gray. I could be mixing up names.
Correct.
Like the adage in the men's game is that it takes like a year to adjust to D1. I'm very curious if that's going to happen with Brooklyn Gray too, because she showed like some serious shot making potential.
Yeah.
Kind of like a McMakin light, but
super athletic.
Super athletic. Can like create off the bounce. But she just had games
deceptive.
Yeah, like she just had games though where the D1 game looked way too fast for her.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious, like, is she someone who she's had that adjustment period, she's gotten to practice an entire offseason, she can take a big step forward.
Yeah.
I know, is it Nazario or Nazario?
Rita Nazario.
Yeah, I know people who have seen them practice have had really good things to say about her.
She just looks like a baller.
And I think she's a freshman, right?
Yeah, she reminds me of like watching the way and I don't want to equate her to Teresa Lish here, but like watching the way that she would carry herself on the court, and of course physically she looks like Teresa Lish a little bit. But I just think that. Oh, what was her name? Jesus, the point guard, amazing point guard. I can't even think of her name right now.
Oh.
Right, she went to Vanderbilt. She transferred as for her senior year after Stone was canned. Yeah, Kaija. She very much just carries herself like a baller.
Yeah,
I don't know how else to describe it.
And that's kind of the interesting thing about this team, right? Is that you have a few people that have played and produced that are going to be asked to play slightly different roles. You have some young players who have some potential. I mean, peek behind the curtain, I have seen Mia Bergstrom play a few times. I think she's going to be a very good player. I don't know how much she's going to play this year, but she has unlimited range, and she could easily take over that, you know, 5 threes a game role from like day one if she gets the minutes. Um, but I think, I think last year they really saw how big of a loss Brooke Flowers was.
Yeah. And I
And
think that's going to be that's where Maya Glanton really comes in this season.
that is, and though there is a part of me that still isn't 100% sure that they filled that Brooke Flowers void.
Not certainly not on the defensive end.
No, no.
On the rebounding end.
Yes.
No.
But so, I think I'm really not sure where this team is going to end up. You could tell me they finished top 4. You could tell me they finished like bottom 6, and I think both are kind of valid range of outcomes at this point.
Yeah, I think it all depends on, like, I think we're going to learn a little bit more about, like, I don't think we're going to learn a lot more. I think that every coaching tenure it either starts out hot or it doesn't start out. And obviously Tillett's tenure started out hot, and we saw that kind of with the turnaround with men's basketball, not to this extent after Cruz, but like, how does she transition it into the next 2 years? How does she continue the success when she loses the cornerstones of the team that kind of pioneered this success?
Well, and I think, that first team was really interesting because it was a blend of her players as well as some holdovers from Lisa Stone. So it was kind of this commingled identity. Now that it's all her, what exactly is that? I don't want to say any coach can make one tournament because that's an oversimplification. But for the sake of argument, any coach can make one tournament. A great coach can rebuild it and do it again and again and again. I think Rebecca Tillett is a really good coach.
Yeah.
She has to craft a new identity, though, this season and beyond.
Yeah. I think that was kind of what we saw, and this is going to be before your time, but equating it to like Ann Cordes, because that's what I saw closest. And that she really did something incredibly special with that first 4 years of players. And then it kind of like she brought in some good players, but like never really, it just felt like it was on the downswing. And that's kind of when she moved on to Louisville. So that's the hardest part is, when you're down, getting back, like you said. So I'm interested to see how this goes. You mentioned Brooklyn Gray. She has big game potential. When she's focused and joyful, she's a dangerous woman on the floor. She finished with a quote about needing to be a better team all season long. And it's funny that, she was asked that because that's something that we've talked about quite a bit on the show and in text. It starts with defending better earlier in the season. And I mean, again, to quote Coach O'Ryan in Mighty Ducks 3, unlike scoring, defense never quits.
I'm less surprised by this reference, but
yes,
no, you're right. I mean, when SLU has been at their best under Rebecca Tillett, it is when they are being super pesty and gritty defensively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When they get away from that, they struggle. So it's a real question of, will they do that right away? Because if they do, they can steal a couple games in non-con. They can beat some opponents that are better than anyone they'll face in the A10, and they could be a real threat when the conference tournament rolls around.
I'm interested to see who that person's going to be that pushes the outlet this season without Julia Martinez. I assume it'll be, Kennedy Calhoun is high on that list. I mean, you talked about Rita Nazario, even as a freshman. It wouldn't shock me, given, I mean, she's small, crafty guard. I will see.
I don't want to be alarmist, but the prevailing thought I have with this team is that Julia Martinez did so much on
Mhm.
both ends of the court. I'm fairly certain there's going to be an adjustment period.
Yeah, her defense is almost irreplaceable.
Yes, I'm not
I mean,
saying I'm
there were
nervous.
steal like her hands are incredible.
She would have games where she would flirt with a triple double with steals.
Yeah,
Like truly the most opportunistic player I've ever seen
yeah.
in a Billiken women's uniform. And man, whether that adjustment period is a game or it's 10 games or it's the entire season, that's probably going to be the key. In addition to the defense, because Julia Martinez was the heart of SLU basketball.
Oh yeah.
She was. So I'm really interested to see how it all comes together. I think they could be a very fun group, um, but they could also have a lot of growing pains. So
Um, Peyton Kennedy mentioned that she was grateful to be back and the extra year had made her a better teammate and friend. She said how competitive practices have been and said that she's a very competitive person. There's a lot of competitive in this. She loses interest in activities without a competitive aspect. Yeah, me too. The exhibition games, Tuesday, October 26th or 22nd at SIUE. It's a charity exhibition game, 6 p.m. And proceeds raised will benefit redefining independence in Edwardsville, whatever that means. Actually, I probably know what that means, but yeah, I think it's great that SLU's going back to Edwardsville, especially to thank them for allowing us to host the NIT championship there.
yep.
I mean, we got
Also
to pay
decent.
back. We got to pay back for the nets that they cut down.
uh yeah.
Uh,
Are you going to that?
I
Or
might. I don't know. I got to look at the calendar, man.
yeah, because I know
Um,
that they also have the other one
I've entered a world where
at
I now
Chaffetz.
have to actually keep a like social calendar, not necessarily a social calendar, like an activities calendar.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
somehow backed my way into a situation where that's applicable, and it's very frightening. Um, General admission tickets are $7 for kids 17 and under. I will be bringing my fake ID that says
I am 12.
I am 12. You knew I was you.
Come on. Saw that one from a mile away.
Yeah. $10 for adults. Group pricing also is available for the game. Tuesday, October 29th, they'll be at home at 4 p.m. against Missouri S&T at Chaffetz Arena. I do not like games that aren't prime time during the week, but okay.
Yeah.
How about
It's
Jill? You
tough.
you were on this news before me, and I'm pissed about it
Yeah,
because
I'll read it.
I've met Jill Pizzotti. You never mind. What is
I'll
it?
read
You are no Jill Pizzotti.
I'm gonna read the news
All
out. And I'm gonna read the news out because
right,
I know the other party in
all
this.
right.
So this week, former Billiken women's head coach Jill Pizzotti became the interim head coach at DePaul, as their head coach Doug Bruno recovers from an unnamed health issue. The program said he is, quote, recovering from medical issues suffered last month. He's recovering at home, away from the team, and Coach Pizzotti is in charge until he returns. Um, I actually, so like I said, I do know Doug Bruno. Uh, I
And you are
tried to
no
find.
Doug Bruno.
What'd you say?
And you are no Doug Bruno.
Ah, yeah, no.
Boy.
Um, anyway, I did ask a couple people that have a more direct line, and they said that they have no idea what the ailment is or how long it's going to be for. So I do think there's a decent chance that she coaches a regular season game for
Yeah.
the Paul Women's, which you did say is kind of funny because when she was the coach at SLU, they were in the same conference as DePaul.
Yes.
And I think your exact words were, I watched DePaul beat her ass many times.
Yes, I did. Sorry, Jill. If you happen to listen to this, I really love you. Were so nice to me when I was a kid. I really hate that I said that out loud, but Yeah, I did. I'm trying to remember when her last year here was. I want to say it was had to be pre 9/11. So 99. I want to see when her last head coaching win was because
Because
she
she's been an
hasn't.
assistant.
Yeah, at DePaul forever.
Yeah.
Let's see. Again, this episode's off the rails. Whether it sucks or not, I don't know. But we're gonna have some fun with it tonight. Um, oh, it was post 9/11. Gee, that shocks me. Way after 9/11. And I know Shimmy was at. Oh, wow. Well, this is going way further than I expected. Yes. Okay. So 2004-05 was her last season. So let's go to the schedule. 2004-05. Last game she coached. She was 4-23. They what? What? This we didn't make the CUSA tournament. That was so confusing. Also I forgot I was talking to you. Uh, an OT win, 59-58 at
Real ball.
yeah, I know, at West Pine Gym against Memphis. Friday, February 25th, 2005.
That is certainly a combination of words in a sentence
That is.
because West Pine Gym, Memphis, CUSA, 2005. That's a combination of things that
I was in high school, man. That's I did not realize that she coached at SLU when I was in high school.
time is very fickle, man.
It's weird. We lost to Mizzou that year, 67-50. We lost to DePaul. DePaul was ranked number 12. And we lost to them 81-63 at home. But, number 12, dude. Only an 18-point game, man.
DePaul women's basketball is a sneaky, really good program.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Actually, it's not even sneaky. They're pretty.
Yeah.
You know, while we're getting this episode off the rails,
let's do it.
Let's do a Chicago-related basketball thing. I tweeted this out. I found out this week that like Drew Valentine, the head coach of Loyola, lives like right down the street from me. He just bought a house right by me.
Low key flex.
Yeah, his house is much more than my apartment, but you know, might have to give him a gift.
Send him a bag
flaming bag of poop as a housewarming gift.
I'm gonna have to bleep that out before somebody sends a bag of crap. Actually does it, and then we get blamed for it.
Well, I'm not gonna say what his address is.
No.
Anyway, that's my random hoop fact of the day that has nothing to do with any of this, just the A10. But maybe I'll host the unofficial pregame in his front yard.
Speaking of pregame, we need to come up with some way to like expand the Sluts universe into a pregame show.
There's 2 T's before anyone gets confused.
Yeah. There's 3 T's.
Oh yeah, there are
SLU,
3.
Twitter
think tank. My bad. Pregame spaces or something.
I want to do a live YouTube or something, man. I want to get weird. I might stream a couple games, like do a watch along or something this year. It all depends on how this team starts out.
Yeah, so let's do that. How many games in a row would they have to win to start the year for you to commit to that level of effort?
That level of effort, they probably. I mean, if they get to Illinois, I mean, you could probably convince me after UMass Lowell or maybe San Francisco.
I think San Francisco is the one. If they get through,
is that our 76 Classic this year?
Maybe, because that was the one in Anaheim, right?
Yes. That was the one that like everybody was like, oh.
It
Shit.
it could be because honestly, if they get to that point unscathed,
By the way, I'm so excited to wear this exact outfit that I'm wearing right now to a game.
yes,
Like this works.
with jeans, I'm assuming.
I might be a winter shorts guy this year.
I was gonna
No,
guess you were gonna wear. I
that's
was gonna guess you
absolutely
were gonna wear
not
the white and royal
checkered
pants.
pants. Oh, dude, they're those things have been like in and out of storage so many times. Like they've seen so many better days. They're clean. They're just
Yeah, they just
probably
had seen some years.
yes. They need to be like ironed, probably.
That's too much work for pants.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad.
Yeah, I think if they make it through San Francisco unscathed, that would be the like, oh shit,
Yeah,
national like don't drop an egg national hype.
yeah.
Like, hold on. T Rank has us as dogs at Fordham on New Year's Eve.
That dude, I don't know
No
why
way.
you're worried about. Why are you worried about take the nerds out of basketball?
Well, I can't figure out why.
Jimmy and Joe's, not the X's and O's.
Do you know they released the game time for a New Year's Eve game and it's like 3 p.m.
That's fine.
I don't know if it's fine or not.
It's 1 o'clock game.
No, I wish that game was when the ball drops. They should have one game a year.
One ball goes down, the other one goes up.
That means you need to see a doctor.
Oh, Pete's gonna be so angry.
That he didn't think of that one by himself.
No. He's like, oh god, they're ruining the show.
Sorry, it's a 1 p.m. tip
Yeah.
at Fordham on New Year's Eve. No, but
I'm calling it the balls down, ball down, ball up classic.
so my actual crackpot idea for New Year's Eve game was be that you tip it exactly at midnight. So like
Yes.
you get the Happy New Year fireworks inside the gym, or do it on an aircraft carrier or something.
I think the Great White tried to do that at the Station nightclub, and it didn't go well. That's a really deep reference.
I'm not going to acknowledge that.
Okay.
It's not good. Yeah, I think we need more games that are weird times, and man, they have announced a few of these conference tip times.
We need the 24 hours of college basketball to come back.
Yes, and we need the Great Alaskan Shootout back.
So let's stop going to Europe. Let's bring the games back home.
They announced the tip time for Avila, 3 p.m. on a Sunday.
That dude, well, that's good because I'm going to the Indianapolis. I'm running the Indianapolis half marathon.
Oh, nice.
And on Saturday, and I told my partner that I told her that we have to be back by Sunday at 3 to watch a Division II basketball game.
I will likely be working during that game, so I will not be. All right, most of the non-conference tip times.
I took off for Santa Clara. I took off for Wichita, which is moot now.
Are you gonna go to that?
Fuck yeah! Which one?
Wichita.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
God, yeah.
Okay, people were complaining this week. They're like, "Oh, our non-conference tips aren't out. They're all out." I'm looking at them right now. They're all out.
I mean, they weren't out.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Too many. You know what? I'm gonna complain about this. Too many like afternoon games on Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah, I mean that's just not fun. That's like going to a movie theater in the day.
Oh, you're wrong there. That's awesome.
No, I mean it's great, but like you come out and you're like, oh, my body doesn't understand what's going on.
Ooh, San Fran, 9 p.m. tip.
Oh god.
Oh, it's in San Francisco. That's why.
Stop doing that. I hate West Coast times. I hate it.
I don't mind them. I'm just I have a flight early the next day.
Like it's so bad with St. Louis City and the Blues because they're both in the Western.
Because they're both in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? Last scheduled question I got for you.
Yeah.
What time do you think the Mardi Gras game against Loyola is going to be? Which, by the way, incredible that Mardi Gras basketball is back in
Yes.
Midtown.
It's at 7 p.m.
You think it'll be 7?
No, it is.
Oh, it's not announced on here yet.
Yeah, it is.
I'm looking at the website. It's not on there. TBA.
Dude, I'm looking at it. January 22nd.
No.
What?
March 1st.
March 1st? That's against Loyola, not LaSalle.
I said Mardi Gras.
Oh, I don't know when Mardi Gras is.
March 1st.
Oh, what time do you think that'll be?
Yeah.
Dear Lord, what do you prefer?
I think like a 5 p.m. or a 6.
Yeah, I don't want a 3 p.m. or like a 1. Like I
Three's
don't
too
want
early.
like I don't go to Mardi Gras. I don't know if this is the year that I go. Because I think I'm now like an every other or every third year guy.
But for the majority of the fan base,
I get to wear my Sydney Kings jersey though if I go, so that's cool.
I don't know if I get that reference.
Or my Townsville Crocodiles.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Took me a second. I was thinking like
When's
hockey
St.
team
Patty's
Kings.
Day? We should play on St. Patty's Day.
That's usually the A10 tournament weekend.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Which this year it'll be the Monday after the A10 tournament, so the day after selection Sunday.
That was awesome. The year we played in the.
Oh wait, that's wrong. That's wrong. It'll be the Friday of conference tournament.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I should know when St. Patrick's Day is. I'm Irish.
Was St. Patrick's Day when we were in Columbus?
I'm 99% sure. Sorry, it is before my time, but I'm fairly certain it was from stories. Sorry, it is the day after selection Sunday. So,
did I ever tell you about meeting Mark Titus that day?
Yes, you have.
Yeah,
I've already told you about when I've shot around with him. And
I love Mark Titus. Can you link me up with Mark Titus?
I will see him in November. So yeah,
tell him your good friend is a big fan.
Yeah.
Show him the picture I took with him where my eyes are kind of closed and I'm like skinny fat.
I will. We'll talk offline, but I have a line to him.
My man. I'm a big Mr. Ed guy.
So,
I think okay, go on and then I got
to answer your question. I think the ideal Mardi Gras tip time is either 4 or 5. It lets people drink enough in Soulard to get their fill, but it doesn't go too late where people risk taking a nap and not getting into the game.
It's true. Also, you can end like nobody wants to be at Mardi Gras past 5. Ideally, you're done with Soulard at 5.
You know the expression people always say in high school, like, "Oh, nothing good ever happens after midnight."
Nothing good ever happens after 5 p.m. on Mardi Gras.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you just
you know what? I decided this past time I went to Mardi Gras, 11 a.m. is perfect. I'll get on at 11. No, to go.
Oh, to go?
Be down there, yeah. Dude, I'm not getting up. I'm getting my workout in and then I'm going. I'm not getting up early. It's cold.
Yeah, I think the last time I went down, it was
I don't want to spend more than unless you have a place to go. I don't know. Well, our listeners there's a section of the listener base that's going to kill us if we don't go through women's and men's soccer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, I'm tired.
Fair enough. I am too.
Yes. Women's soccer. They let's see. It's gonna be short, guys. Peter really is the brains behind all the information in this show. So the Billikens were off all week until Sunday, which was a bummer because I like my Thursday evening women's soccer. But they posted a 1-0 win versus VCU Sunday the 13th. 21st minute, Hope Kim scored on assist from Julia Simon. The Billikens dominated this game once again, could only muster 1 goal. WestPine, give us the stats here. The shots and the, corner kicks, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so again, SLU dominated in the shots department, which has been a theme for a lot of these lower scoring games they've had in conference, but they're just not converting. SLU had 29 shots, 9 on goal to VCU's 5 with 2 on goal. Emily Percelli didn't have to do much work, only had to have 2 saves. So again, dominated in drawing corners. But again, it's one of these things where they scored relatively early in the 20th minute, and then they just kind of they don't park the bus, but they just kind of stop hunting shots. And I had it on kind of in the background today, and I was just checking in, and you can tell when the announcer kind of starts getting their voice elevated, like, "Hey, something's happening. I'm gonna look." Again, I don't really know what it is because this team is still really good.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they just don't have like a killer instinct or if it's just by design, but they remain
Enigmatic
enigmatic.
undefeated.
Like they're undefeated in conference, but they're 4-0-2, and you could make a really good case that they should be 6-0, like 6-0-0.
I mean, yes.
Like Dayton is first in the conference at 5-1, and I've watched a couple of their games. I don't watch them and say, okay, this is finally the year that someone's better than SLU women's soccer. I think that they're not hunting shots the way they should be, or quality shots, I should say.
Yeah. No, it's weird. I don't know what the answer is. Obviously, the corner kicks again, 10 for SLU. By the way, I'm gonna just peek behind the curtain. I wasn't able to watch most of the game. Was the goal was not off a corner kick?
I turned it on after the goal.
Okay, yeah.
So I got the alert on my phone.
We'll say it wasn't. Even if it was, it's 1 out of 10, right?
Yeah, like I got the alert and it said, "Oh, 1-0." I was like, "Oh shoot, that game started. Let me throw it on."
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's.
By the way, the Billiken app is like, if for no other reason, the Billiken app is great for reminding you when games are.
It's really good too, especially for the non-basketball sports.
Yes.
Where ESPN might not be great with those alerts, even when you set them up.
Yeah.
But yeah, another game where like they knew going into the year they have to win the conference tournament. That's just the fact. You don't get enough help from the conference, by the ratings and everything. But I want to see them start putting some goals together, putting some of those patent like 5-1, 4-0, like some of those games that they just kind of accumulate that momentum going into the final stretch of the year. And at this point, I'm like a little nervous it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's entirely possible that's not going to happen. I mean, I think at this point you're closer to the end of the season than you are the beginning, and
yep.
There's not that much time to improve. They're going to have to find that one person that can, that one change that unlocks whatever scoring potential that's hiding there.
Yeah, like they need the equivalent of like Gaby's unlocking last year when she went from being like, "Hey, I'm a really good player on this team," to, "Oh, I'm just burying goals left and right."
Yeah,
they need someone else.
Yeah, because I mean, when you only have one player like Emily Gaby scoring, it's much easier to defend you. I think that's basic in any sport. And you need a second and tertiary scoring threat. Obviously, you have Hannah Sawyer, who has again not hit the back of the net as much as we'd hoped, and so not only do you not have the second or the tertiary, you don't have the secondary so much. So we'll see where this team goes. They've got Richmond on Thursday, so Thursday soccer's back, and then Sunday the 20th at LaSalle. Billiken sit in second place at 4-0-2, just behind Dayton at 5-1. Loyola Chicago, UMass, Fordham, Rhode Island, Duquesne, George Washington, Davidson, George Mason, LaSalle, St. Joe's, Richmond, Bonaventure. That's kind of how the table runs. So you've got Richmond and LaSalle, two teams that are just flat out not good. LaSalle only has 6 points in conference. Between the two of them, they don't have 14 points as SLU does. So these are two games that you have to win, and you have to find that combination that really ignites the offensive potential of this team.
Yeah, these are two games that if you walk away with anything but 2 wins, I'm officially concerned. I go from being like monitoring to like, okay, we might have a problem.
Yeah. I mean, the soccer. I think it's hard because we've been conditioned so
6 straight
much.
titles.
Yes.
It's like they're still a really damn good team,
Yeah.
but when you're going for 7 straight, there's another level you have to hit.
Yes, because
Target's on their back.
everybody's yes, without a doubt. This we're gonna head over to the men's soccer side. This is where Peter did do work this week. A 2-2 tie at Fordham. By the way, we couldn't even watch the Rhode Island match, so I mean, what are we gonna say about it? 2-2 tie at Fordham, Wednesday the 9th. This really was one of the most disappointing moments. I think this is up there with the Washington game.
Yeah.
Just not even being able to stream the Washington game very well. It was just so heartbreaking. A 10th minute goal from Matthew Roble on a feed from Drake Fournier, and then the third assist went to Carlos Leatherman. It was off a set piece. Leatherman sent it in near the net. Fournier headed it back over to Roble, who finished with a header. West Pine, this was just classic soccer, man. It was beautiful.
It was, and my only real complaint about this game is that it
didn't happen enough.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of my concerns or complaints about the women's program kind of apply to the men's program.
I mean, 100%. They're literally mirror images. Yeah,
it's really scary. Like going from watching one game and then the next day watching another. Like these two teams are doing the exact same thing, and
yes,
it's the same deficiency. And like the men's,
they should just get together and figure this out.
They should.
Like if you got all, if you get all, yeah, you could have one coach run a practice. I think we're onto something here, dude.
And it's like
again, Katie Shields coaches a men's practice for the day, and Kalish coaches the women.
I wouldn't be surprised if they haven't done that, but like, not to bury the lead here, but SLU, they took that to a lead in the halftime, and I think we said they ended up drawing this game 2-2.
Seth Anderson scored a 21st minute goal from Nate Ward. I mean, it was a gorgeous, another gorgeous goal. Perfect left-footed volley into the net from Seth.
And looking at them, like right now they're third in conference. They're basically tied for first. They just have one less point than Duquesne and George Mason. But they're 3-0-2. This is a draw you'd really like to have back to be tied outright for the conference lead. But over on the year, they're 5-2-5, and like those 5 draws leave a lot of meat on the bone when you take a couple of them away, and it's like, all right, you are building a resume for something.
And that's why I hate draws in college soccer. There's not enough games. The sample size is too small.
Yeah, they need 10 more games for me to actually start saying, okay, draws are okay.
Yes.
But like you said, we can't really talk that much about the Rhode Island game because we're unable to watch it. But
what a joke that is! By the way, did you see my tweet?
Yeah, that their account hasn't tweeted in.
How is that possible?
6 months?
No, yeah,
9 months. I don't even like they haven't tweeted since May or something. I don't know.
I would be interested to learn what the hell that's about.
Their team is 7-3-3 overall.
Yeah, and they have a great history.
Like all 3 of their losses have come in conference, but they're not a nothing team. I just don't. Yeah, I don't know how in today's day and age, especially when you have an SID that's dedicated to a group of sports, like an assistant SID.
Yeah.
How do you just say I'm not gonna do anything for this program? It's just wild to me.
It's weird.
But 1-0 win.
Can you imagine if SLU went and did something like that?
I'm gonna hold my tongue.
It would be wild. Like that, nobody would. I can't imagine. Like, I'm not saying they would, and I don't think they ever would. Like, I really don't. But can you imagine, like, Billiken Twitter or Dayton Twitter if Dayton didn't do that for their soccer team or something like that?
It would be mayhem.
It would be unheard of. Literally unheard of.
I think you would get fan response like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. Anyway, back to the Fordham game though. Just to kind of again, it ended in a draw. Fordham got one back from Andre Insalaco. And then a few minutes later, a handball right on the 18-yard line. Ref initially made no call, reviewed it, his no call stood. Basically, I believe this was because it was outside the box. And you can't give a handball outside the box off you can only go to see if it's a penalty, I think. And then 122 left to play. Fordham was given a penalty kick. Holy shit, the ball was going out of the box and it hit Leatherman's hand on the way out.
Just just unfortunate.
It was deflating, unbelievable. He scored. I turned it off. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, that was one I saw a clip of after the fact, and I was like,
I thought there was no way he was gonna. You can't give that. Like, I thought it was too close to Leatherman's body, and I thought going out of the box, like that's one of those where I need the FA the FA to like redraw the rules. That's an indirect free. That's an indirect free kick. Like handballs cannot always be penalties. You need
a context sensitive.
Yes, like the ball's going out of the box and it hits a slew hand. Like that's an indirect free kick.
Yeah.
Like I mean that way you can take out the whole like was it intentional, unintentional, was it a natural position? Take that all out and just be like if it hits a hand in the box that's not next to your body, it's an indirect free kick. Let's get weird. Bring the indirect free kick. Screw it. Bring back kick-ins.
Dude, kick-ins were
insane.
I'm for bringing those back.
I did tell you. I did text the hot take that like handball does not fit in the like it's diametrically opposed to the game of soccer, so it should be eliminated.
I still didn't fully understand what you were
basically that like because the kick like. The whole point of soccer is to play with your feet, and then you do one thing with your hand, like kick it in.
Oh, you're talking about the throw, not a handball.
Yeah. But no, I'm saying throw-ins.
Oh, throw-ins with your hand.
Should be replaced with kick-ins. That's what I'm saying.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. Anyway, Daniel DiPolito. He's not Italian or anything. Scored the PK to tie it at 2. Shots were 14-9 Fordham. Shots on goal 3-3. Corner 7-3 Fordham. Fouls were 11-10 SLU. I think the take Peter left here that I guess his lasting imprint on this episode. SLU shouldn't have started wasting time with over 10 minutes left and just a 1-goal lead.
Again,
that's based.
It's the same thing we were saying about the women. It's like, okay, just keep attacking, or even if you're not trying to attack, keep playing with some sense of urgency or confidence or whatever. It's just the tendency to revert to this kind of like soft protection thing.
Like
doesn't typically work.
It's such a Gallagher thing to like. It's a little Gallagher-y.
Yeah.
1-0 win at Rhode Island. Again, we didn't see it, but we heard Luis Lara scored in the 16th minute, his 6th of the season. I mean, the guy that's really like that guy just scores goals.
Yeah.
Matthew Roble and Seth Anderson assisted on this one. Floriani, Marr, but were both booked for yellow cards. The shots were URI heavy in this one, which is surprising to me. I don't know, man. This program is weird.
Yeah, it's hard to have any take from this game other than good. You got to win. Rhode Island. I don't know why you're not broadcasting your games.
Yeah, I'm assuming because the football game was same day.
Anyway, put a camcorder up there.
Yeah. Next,
do it.
Next up will be VCU on Saturday the 19th. I forgot to put the standings up. but that's fine.
All you need to know is SLU is they're in third. There's a tie for first between Duquesne and George Mason. George Mason, I think, is ranked 13th
Yeah,
in the country,
weird. I
but
don't
they just
understand that.
lost. They just lost, so
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
assuming
they're
they will be
frauds.
falling out of the
Because
they'll
they're
be falling out of the
frauds.
polls. But
Fraud ass.
SLU has 11 points in conference. The two teams in front of them have 12. They're right there. They just need to.
It really doesn't. Honestly, it just does. It doesn't. The standings at this point, you're
You just need to
looking
make
at.
the tournament.
Yep.
Like make the conference tournament.
Yep.
And win out. That's what you got to do.
Yep. I'm going to run through the rest of this. We'll give a little bit to senior day at field hockey. A 3-2 loss. We actually both watched this one. I was in attendance. Great attendance. SLU had Raising Canes for students. So quite a bit of students showed up. I mentioned Peyton Kennedy was in attendance with a few of the other Billiken women's basketball players. Of course, got to see Nora Kotnick, guest of the show, as well. Say hi to her. And it was a good game. 3-2 loss versus Davidson on Friday the 11th. This was senior day. Josefina Perez, Julia Ruyakers, Savina Perwal, and Anna Smith and Olivia Smith were all honored. Again, the crowd support was great. People showed up. The bleachers were all but full, I thought, which is tough there because it's a little kind of, you have to, you can only, it doesn't matter. Davidson scored first, but Josefina Perez made it 1-1 just over a minute later. I got to say, anytime I watch field hockey and the other team scores first, I get very concerned.
Yeah, it's definitely of all the sports that we've talked about today, it's definitely the like greatest sense of urgency.
Yes.
I did watch this game, and I have to preface this with I don't know a ton about field hockey. It's really cool. This facility looks awesome. I really want to make it down to a game next year. But it looks like a cool environment, and it's nice that it's close to campus because people can actually go.
Yeah. I with this team, I think we could just talk about the game, honestly. Davidson then scored once in the second and once again in the third. The Billikens got one back in the fourth. Abby Vitas scored off assist from Olivia Smith and Anna Smith. And honestly, this goal was nice. It was a really good goal.
It was, and it's I'm 99% sure I can picture it in my head.
It was tic tac toe.
Oh yes, it was sick.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. I'm an idiot who doesn't know field hockey, and I was like, I feel like that's what you're supposed to do.
Yes. But this team, the defense is just not, and I don't even think the defense is bad because you look at the way this team defends penalty corners, and it's very good. They're pretty damn good at defending penalty corners. But so it's not necessarily their defensive ability, it's the ability to get the ball from defense to the midfield to offense. There's turnover after turnover within that defensive third or even defensive half of the field, and it really is just it's energy sapping.
Yeah, it's almost like a it's like a good counterattack in soccer. Like it just gives the same vibes and momentum. Again, I'm probably the least qualified person to talk about field hockey on the planet.
It's not so much field hockey, it's just watching it. There's so many the Billiken turnovers are so they leave
come like waves.
And they leave it's almost always the people that are behind are left out to dry on a 4-on-2.
Yeah.
It's very I said it to Peter a couple episodes ago. It's I want to see this team just play the ball long and go up there and try to force a turnover. Make them come the entire length of the field through your defense. Mm-hmm. If you're in trouble, hit the piss out of the ball. I don't care if it goes over the fence. Just do not turn the ball over. I don't care what you do on the offensive end. Just don't turn the ball over in your half of the field. Limit that, and the offense will take care of itself. I would run as like I would just run a high press and like hope for the best. Honestly, when you're that skilled like when your skill is you're that deficient in like skill compared to your opponent, like just make them run at least.
Yeah, kind of
Make
muck it up.
Yeah, make
Like,
them work at least to get it back upfield.
yeah, I am really interested to see now that they have an on-campus facility.
Yeah,
Like, if there is kind of a step up
it'll be
in
interesting.
the average talent level of the player, like the player the program can attract, and
I think
nothing against the current program in the
I think it wouldn't necessarily be a huge increase. I think it could be more so a keeping home players that are of the same
yeah
caliber or
yeah
better or a little. I think you're going to see what you're going to see. The reason it's going to raise is because you're going to be keeping home local kids that you wouldn't normally.
and I think that again, I don't think you build a facility if you don't have any reasonable belief that the program can be halfway decent.
Yeah.
But
That's all we're asking, honestly.
yeah, I think
I just want to be I just want to be mid pack. Like I want to be like behind I want to be like fifth in the A10.
yeah, I think it's a very valid.
And it's a small conference.
Yeah, it's only like 8, right?
Yeah. Let's see. I think I said this on an episode before, but like SLU could be, yeah, again, I think SLU could be fourth or fifth in this conference. VCU is a public institution, but it's East Coast. I mean, St. Joe's, Richmond, and UMass are going to just absolutely kick your ass up and down the field every year. But if you can get to that VCU level, that LaSalle level, I think you'd be all right.
Yeah, and I think that'd be a nice thing that you can go to a game on a like if you're a student, you can go to a game and
get some Cane's fingers.
Hey, if they're giving out free food,
hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother.
Anyway, Raising Cane's is not worth a hell yeah, brother.
Any chicken is worth a hell yeah, brother. Davidson outshot the Billikens 23-12 with a 13-5 advantage in shots on goal. I hate penalty corners, by the way. So we had 11 of them to Davidson's 8. By the way, they had a sweet early game penalty corner play that didn't end up in the back of the net, but really should have. I really liked that run. But like penalty corners are weird. Like it's such a weird misnomer to call them penalty corners. Because like getting a ball hit off your foot should not be a penalty.
Yeah, it's another.
That's a frustration. I think the stop and start and the thing about field hockey is like I think that it's like as a sport, it hasn't. They're still playing the game like it's 1916. Does that make sense? Like they're playing a game that's much slower than it actually is now.
Yes.
There's like it's impossible to get your feet out of the way of anything. I don't understand. It's a wild game. Anyway, let's just kind of run through this real quick. I don't have any stats for the second volleyball match. Sorry, Beatty. I really am. But next up for the Billikens will be Friday the 18th at VCU for field hockey. On the volleyball side, 3-1 loss at VCU Friday the 11th, 25-20, 25-27, 13-25, 25-27. Tech Logic led SLU with 13 kills. Trinity Luckett had 9 blocks. Opperly 19 assists. Rogers 13 digs. VCU out hit SLU 228 to 160. And then they dropped a 3-0 decision on Saturday against VCU in the second match of this 2-game set. It was 26 or 24-26, 19, 25, 20, 25. So again, I don't know what to make of these Billikens right now. I still think there's a need for better talent in the next couple recruiting classes that just kind of need turnover eventually, I think. But I think
my general outlook with volleyball is I'm bullish on the long term potential of the program. I think they're moving in the right direction. I just think that they need to
Just stacking recruiting classes.
they need to just raise the talent floor before we can really start worrying about other stuff. It's a process thing, and
It's so weird because I don't know if like the A10 volleyball is like 4 teams and then dog poop.
yep,
And then SLU is 5 right now. And SLU is like better than every other team below them on most nights.
yep. But
But like they
that difference
cannot.
from
Yeah,
the,
yes.
the
Go ahead.
difference from 5 to 4
Yes.
is so big.
Right now, yes.
Like every time I've thrown on a match, I'm like, okay, within like 2 sets, you're like, okay, this is either going to be a match like a this is going to be something you're going to win going away,
Yeah.
or you're kind of just going to get
Run over.
run over. And yeah, because right now they're tied for 5th with
Yeah.
Duquesne.
Yeah. I mean, they should be better
Davidson.
than Duquesne. And Davidson, they should be better than, yeah.
But it's a thing, like they're on a 3-match losing streak right now. They started off conference 3-1. They're now 3-4.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like the wheels are falling off the bus, but it's just they've lost a lot of momentum that they
Well,
had.
yeah, I mean, you've got, let's see. They needed that win against Duquesne, honestly. That's not a good loss. The Loyola Chicago, that was going to happen. The VCU, I mean, I could see that coming. Davidson, they've got to win both here. Rhode Island, they have to win both. It would be wonderful if they beat a Loyola Chicago team in a down year, because I think they're down. George Washington, you got to win. George Mason, you got to win, and then Dayton, you're just come out without getting injured.
Yeah, Dayton volleyball, I don't see us beating.
No,
But
stranger things have happened.
it'd be great. They're the I mean, they're 17-1 on the year. They're the program in this league,
Yeah.
and they're really good.
Well, Kent Miller was mucking this program up. Anyway, yeah. Cross country been on. Next up, Bradley Pink Classic, October 18th in Peoria. Swimming diving's heading to WashU on Friday the 18th, where Halliburton will be. West Pine. Thanks for coming on, man. This was fun.
Yeah. Glad Pete was unavailable and I was able to
Pete will be back
in.
next week. I forgot I didn't even mention that.
I know that we are long overdue for a jumbo SLU Twitter think tank episode.
Yes.
This did not take that place, but we do need to get one on the books before the season starts.
Oh, that's quick, man. That's coming up.
I know, 3 weeks, but so we can hash out some of the Ombudsman SLU basketball items that need to be covered. But yeah, glad to come on as always.
It always helps when you and I have been kind of friends for years now that we've kind of have an outside Billiken basketball shared interest too. So it's funny.
Yes.
All right, guys. Thank you all for listening. West Pine, as always, go Bills.
Go Bills.